$99. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 5/6 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
With Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor gets to know you and your goals to build a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Backed by a team of specialists, they'll analyze all your accounts, even the ones they don't manage, to keep an eye on taxes and provide proactive portfolio insights that can help you unlock your wealth's full potential. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE SIPC.
He steps to the mic with a boom, ping, ping. Wisdom sharper than a beast's fierce sting. Words like fireflies that light the night. He turns the dark into blazing bright. Boom, ping, ping, the truth takes wing. Milwaukee's voice, let the city sing. Boom, ping, ping, hear the freedom ring. Sherwin's the king, all the airwaves king. That shake the ground, unveils the truth where lies abound. Politics, justice, social streams. He molds the chaos into dreams. No silence here, just the sound of change. Boom, ping, ping, rearrange. Boom, ping, ping, the truth takes wing. Milwaukee's voice, let the city sing. Boom, ping, ping, hear the freedom ring. Sherwin's the king, all the airwaves king. Through the static, through the noise, he amplifies the people's voice. Boom, ping, ping, like a heartbeat's call. He's got the wisdom to break down walls. Yeah. Da, 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 da.
Well, good morning. Welcome to the program. You've made it to Wednesday, April 29th, 2026. I'd like to do something a little different today. I try to keep these programs interesting. I don't want them to get boring and get stale. I'm not sure if they would get boring or stale even if I tried for them to be, because it's very unpredictable, and I love talking to you guys, love the phone calls, love the text messages that you guys send to 833-212-1017. Still waiting to hear from Renee, though. I think Renee teased me the other day when she called in with that sexy voice talking about she was going to text me because she wanted to talk to me about some of the topics on my show. You know, that's what the women folk do. They're very subtle. They're thinking to themselves, oh, my God, I love Sherwin so much. I love him. He's a hunk. He's a sex symbol. He's a big old piece of articulate chocolate. But they can't come out and say that, so they'll say stuff like, I would like to have a discussion, Sherwin, about something you said on your Monday program during segment 2 of hour 1 when you talked about structural racisms. And they're just trying to get in my pants. So that's usually how they do it. But today, here I am, flying off the handles already, 5 minutes into the show. We're going to do some questions and some answers. I don't even care what your question is. We're going to answer it. Do you have a question about what is happening in the world? Do you have a question about politics or policy? Do you have a question about the Wisconsin race for governor? Do you have a question about anything? You want to know a good first date idea? Let me pause there, though, because I have been cautioned and warned that when we have our conversations about coupling and dating and the social interactions between the men folk and the women folk, some of you don't like my takes. And I'll respect that because I know that my takes are very individual and very specific to me, but I would like to think that in the conversations that we have about what I consider one of the most foundational social building blocks, it is the relationships between people that lead to marriage, long-term commitments, etc. Because when we talk about, I guess, where we may be at disadvantages, a lot of it stems from families and the homes and the community that we are trying to create, a productive community, a community that is doing better and is on a trajectory to do better than it was in the past. The relationships between people is just very central to that. So I don't want folks to think that when we drift off into the abyss of talking about coupling and dating and relationships, that we are moving far away from our mission of creating stronger, much more intelligent, critically thinking communities that are awake. And when I say awake, that's aware of all the covert things that are happening to us that we may not see right in front of our faces. But I also know that my takes are very personal. Sometimes you agree, sometimes you disagree. But that's all a part of it. I'm going to do a question and answer show today. I do have some information I would like to share with you on a variety of topics. Won't be touching on this one with very much detail, but the federal government, including the combination of the Federal Bureau of Investigation and the Drug Enforcement Administration, have federally reclassified medicinal marijuana. I think that that is a great step for those that can benefit from some of the many uses of medical grade cannabis. If those of you that think that we are getting closer in the state of Wisconsin to full legalization, we are not. I also believe that we have missed the boat, and all of the tax revenue that people assumed and expected if we ever legalized THC and THC derivatives here in Wisconsin. The windfall of taxes every year that Wisconsin goes without legal recreational cannabis, marijuana, THC, and THC derivatives, the expected tax revenue goes down because people are purchasing their products somewhere else, and consumer loyalty is gigantic. We certainly are going to talk about consumer loyalty and why do you buy what you buy? Now, I'm going to put that through the lens of this community building exercise that is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, because African Americans, which is the majority of the listening audience, or at least the part that we can measure, a lot of black folks, our consumer spending power as a racial classification is like top 10 in the world, meaning we would be a top 10 nation as far as gross domestic product. If all of the black people and all of our consumer power created its own nation, it would be a top 10 economic power. That is very, very significant. And I don't know if we do enough analysis of our consumer and spending behavior. So I certainly want to speak to you all about that. And why do you make the buying decisions that you make? And as we do every day on this program, we have a poll that we ask you via YouTube because we're inquisitive. We have inquisitive temperaments here at 1017 The Truth. If you go to youtube.com or open up your YouTube app from your smartphone or other mobile device, search The Truth with Sherwin Hughes or 1017 The Truth. Hit subscribe. You'll be able to view the live stream of the program and also participate in our lively chat. Be careful of that chat because they'll talk about everything under the sun in that chat. Sometimes they'll be having their own conversations in the chat on the YouTube stream that has nothing to do with my show. Like nothing. They'll just start talking about who has the best chicken wings. What is it with you blacks and lemon pepper? We probably should talk about that, too, at some point in time. 20 years ago, nobody put lemon pepper on anything. Now y'all put it on everything. Each other, chicken. turkey, ribs, everything is lemon pepper. Our YouTube question of the day, we want to know, in this modern day and time, where do you prefer to do your shopping or your spending? Are you old school? Do you like to go to the store? Do you like to go to the retail outlet? Do you like to go to the grocery store? Do you like to go to the Costco? Side note, Sherwin has never been to a Costco. Just don't see the point. Don't see the point. I'm assuming Costco is probably similar to Sam's Club. I think I've been to Sam's Club maybe once, maybe twice. And I don't have a Sam's Club membership, obviously. But they make you got to have like an ID card to go into a Sam's Club so you can buy 37 rolls of toilet paper. I never understood that. It also doesn't fit how I spend and what I buy. And this is very unique to me. Because as a single individual who lives alone and loves it, I don't need to buy 37 rolls of paper towel. I don't need to buy the economy-sized jar of pickles. I don't need 700 pounds of pickles. But Sherwin, it's cheaper if you buy in bulk. I don't want to buy 700 pounds of pickles, and then so it's the year 2026. In the year 2051, I still have the same pickles. I don't like pickles that much. Pickles are occasional, because I don't really make many dishes that require a pickle. Do you prefer to shop online or in store? Some people like the tactile experience of going out to the store and feeling the clothes they're going to buy. Some folks like, you know what, I'll just scroll with my thumbs and purchase everything that I need on my phone. Up until probably 2018, I was an in-store consumer only. I went and purchased my things. I didn't start using Amazon habitually until 2018, 2019, but then by the time the pandemic came, it was my go-to, and I believe that I formed new consumer habits based on being shut in during the pandemic era, and that is where I have remained. I've got some stuff. I really want to dig into this. The consumer behavior of African Americans, because when we talk about woke, and not the white liberal progressives version of woke, a white liberal progressive will read something in a book and be like, oh my God, black people were slaves? And now they go around telling all their other white friends, hey, other white friends, did you know that black people were slaves? Yeah, I feel woke now. Woke is knowing some of the psyops and covert means that have been perpetuated on African Americans in every decade and every historical epoch in this country that has guided our behavior, sometimes without us even noticing. And I want us to be awake to that, because they are controlling our consumer behavior. And I'm not saying it's necessarily a bad thing, because I also know that people can be smart consumers too. You know who the smartest consumers are? People that work, they make okay money, but their money doesn't go as far as they would want it to. They got to be smart about how they spend. Those are very, very intuitive consumers. So with the information I plan on sharing with you about how our buying behavior can be manipulated, I want to make even more smart consumers, because if you are a smart consumer and you can make your money stretch a little bit further, and you, lo and behold, happen to have a little extra coin left over before you get your next paycheck, then we can do some things with that money to build some generational wealth. Because at the end of the day, I want black people to be rich. I want black people to be so rich that white people are going to be asking us for 40 acres and a mule. I'm going to take a break, come back. This is the Q&A show. You got questions, me and Xavier got answers. I'm not saying that the answers are going to be right. Remember, X and I get paid for the attempt. This show might be a miserable failure. The money we make going to be the same. So we're just here to attempt to deliver the best we possibly can. You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. We are exclusively on 101.7 The Truth in Milwaukee. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
May is Skilled Trades Month, a time to celebrate the hands-on careers that keep our industries and our communities moving forward. At Junior Achievement, students are discovering that today's skilled trades include technology, robotics, and smart manufacturing. With support from Rockwell Automation, students are exploring how advanced manufacturing and automation will power the factories of the future. Thank you, Rockwell, for helping inspire the next generation of technicians, engineers, and innovators. Learn more at ja.org.
You're a hard worker. Provide for your family and help out in your community. You've been there for so many others. But when life challenges you, when rising costs, unexpected repairs, medical bills, or simply a rough stretch make it hard to keep up on a limited or low income, you're not alone. Your local Wisconsin energy and emergency assistance providers are here for you, working together to keep you safely in your home and your heat and power on. If you're struggling with high utility bills, facing a disconnect notice, or dealing with a furnace emergency and your limited or low income isn't enough, support is available. Visit www.heat.help or call 1-800-506-5596 to apply for a hand up.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Is it happening? I keep looking for a different thing. While the center starts to pull me in.
Our telephone number, if you have questions and seek answers, is 833-212-1017. You can also text that same number, 833-212-1017. Also on Friday, ooh, I'm so excited, we're going to be giving away $5,000 to a very lucky Gruber One Call That's All giveaway entry. For the last few months, we have been taking winners, call number 5, call number 7, call number 8. And if we select you, we are going to enter your name, or we did enter your name, rather, into the giveaway. And on Friday, we're going to be giving that money away. So here's how it typically goes. They give me a whole list of names, because hundreds of you, I'm assuming, have entered to win over the past few months. But they have to give me several names, because every single time, like clockwork, the first person that we call doesn't answer the phone. And if you don't answer the phone, you're not going to get the money. I don't want to hear it. You can't file an appeal. You can't go to circuit court and try and sue to get your money. I'm telling you ahead of time, you need to be listening and you need to answer the phone. Because here's the thing, I don't know what number is going to come up on your caller ID. Hell, it might say spam. You better answer that spam. That's $5,000 worth of spam. Let's talk to Adam. You're on 1017 The Truth. How are you, Adam?
I'm great for an old guy. I'm fabulous.
Oh, good.
I remember I called you a couple of weeks ago and I made a mistake on them dates when I retired and all of that. And I'm listening to you this morning talking about people buying in bulk. You don't have anybody. You don't have no 5 or 6 kids. You should. That was just. I'm gonna put it to you like y'all call me dumb and all of that. That was dumb of you. You even say something like that.
Adam, you just being disrespectful because you are mad that you said the wrong year and the wrong retirement. They don't call me dumb. Don't be disrespectful.
Yeah,
I thought didn't your mom and daddy teach you better than that, man?
You're disrespectful to me.
You ain't got to be vindictive. And it wasn't even me. Well, somebody else called in and said that you need to get your head checked. That wasn't me that said that.
Yeah.
I don't know why you taking this out on me. Y'all think it's sweet around here. I'm going to have to push a whole bunch of people down some stairs because y'all over here think I'm just sweet. No,
I know. If I was younger, I'd show you how sweet I am. I'm just too old.
Well, hold on, man. Hold on. Whoa, big fella. Hold on now.
Oh, yeah. And I'm not talking about the way you thinking. I'm talking about the way I would take you in the ring.
Come on, we can go.
If I was younger,
you do me
that. Hell, I'm 84 years old.
And 84 is what you gonna be, because that's all the years you gonna get. Over here messing with me because you don't know what year it is. Okay, Adam, what year is it?
That's all I have to say.
No. What year is it, Adam? What year is on the calendar right now?
Right now, 26.
Oh, you finally got it right. Once you get in the ring with me, you ain't gonna know what year it is.
Yeah, sure. It's always that. I've always listened to you. Not all the time I call, but when you said that this morning, but I don't need this. I don't. No, I know you don't, because like right now, I don't
Adam,
need all
let me
that.
tell you something. Look, buying in bulk is actually cheaper. Like for things that you were going to use, like soap. It's. But I'm just saying, as a personal consumer, I don't do it. I would save money if I bought in bulk, but I don't buy in bulk. Over here saying that's stupid because I ain't got 5 or 6 kids.
You live by yourself.
That don't got nothing to do with it. Plenty of people don't got no kids buying bulk. Why is you yelling at me?
It's got a lot to do with it. If you ain't making that much money, you can buy in bulk and save money for your family. That's super great. But if you're an individual and you're making top dollars now, so what's the big deal? That's no big deal to you. To somebody that is working a regular job, 9 to 5, and he's got 4, 5, 6 kids, that's the best thing for him to do, to go to one of them type store. And that's all I have to say about it.
I know that's all you got to say.
I love you, man. Have a good day.
What is it with the old men? I think they're just jealous.
They like you.
I think they jealous. They jealous. They see a young, strapping, young man who's virile. They see me and they get jealous. They jealous because their little Peter Woods don't work no more.
You think he's tech savvy enough to watch YouTube? Or
he does.
Oh,
he actually, Adam is one, because we even had a promo. Because he called in and was talking about something I was wearing or something visual. And I'm like, Adam, you too old to, use YouTube. I got the YouTube on right now, sucker. Everybody calling and messing with me. Like, what?
I would like to see him and Bob fight.
No, you wouldn't. It'd be a whole mess. They'd throw one punch and be out of breath.
Yeah. You ever watch bum fights back in the day?
Yes.
Yeah, something like
Don't
that.
call, no, because then he going to get mad. I heard you calling me a bum. I understand black on black crime. Ladies and gentlemen, if you were ever curious as to why the blacks commit crime against one another, you just heard it. This man said he wanted to fight if he was younger. Well, guess what? You ain't younger. I put belt to ass. I don't care how old you are. I don't care. If I got to teach respect to somebody that either didn't learn it or they forgot it in their senior years, I'll remind them. In fact, you know what? I think I might need this today.
Oh, you taking off your belt?
Yeah, I'm just going to have it handy in case. But you never know. Somebody might show up here to the studio. I might got to put...
When's the last time that happened?
Somebody showed up here to the studio?
Yeah.
Weekly. Yeah, that's right. Put belt to ass. Now I can't stand up because my pants are going to fall down. All right. What is happening? I get here early in the morning. I do all this reading, putting together notes. Now I got to...
You haven't come up with more conspiracies about the shooting? Or
I got a ton of them. I got a million. You over here trying to derail me. You ain't no better than damn callers.
I'm just asking questions here. This is called Q&A, right?
Not for you.
Oh,
I need you to just push the buttons in there. And just push the buttons and then tell me, sure, when it's time to go to commercial break. That helps me a lot. But I'll humor you for a moment. But then I got to get back on track because I got a lot of stuff I need to discuss. So this guy took an Amtrak train from Los Angeles to Chicago, got on another train, got out to D.C., checked into the hotel, as far as we know, at least a day, maybe 2 days prior to the White House Correspondents' Dinner. We know that the Washington Hilton is a fortress of security. Security has been beefed up there for 4+ decades because there was an assassination attempt on former President Ronald Reagan, March 30th, 1981. There's a tremendous amount of security. There's a tremendous amount of surveillance at the Washington Hilton because that place not only hosts the annual White House Correspondents' Dinner, the Washington Hilton also hosts other international dignitaries and American presidents, members of the president's staff, the cabinet, et cetera, et cetera. Why is there no surveillance footage of this man getting on a train either in L.A. or getting off the train in Chicago. There's zero surveillance footage of him at the hotel, checking into the hotel. There's zero surveillance footage of this man going to his room. What is his room number? Who is his lawyer? Why has there not been any statements from his lawyer? See all of these questions? Because I say that because the manifesto came out 12 minutes after the shot was fired. So they clearly had some information about this person. The manifesto was released in such a short time frame. There was no way it could have been vetted and authenticated, because apparently he sent the manifesto to like a family member somewhere out east, like in Connecticut or something. And then that family member then provided it with great convenience and deliberate speed to the media. Doesn't even make any sense. But we have zero surveillance footage of him moving around that hotel. Wouldn't he be casing the hotel? Wouldn't he be walking around and getting the layout of the ballroom and kind of tracing out his steps that he would take if he was going to commit this assassination like they say that he did? Why is there zero surveillance footage? Any other incident that we have in the United States of America, somebody is caught on camera, because there are cameras everywhere. I don't believe that they have released that surveillance footage because it either does not exist, or if the footage was in fact released, more people would see the high level of inconsistency in this situation. And then we showed the picture yesterday via our YouTube of Donald Trump, who was not ushered out of the building when there was a mad gunman trying to assassinate him. You can see Donald Trump just behind the curtain on the stage, watching all of the chaos ensue when everyone was running and scattering and ducking under their tables. Keeping in mind, nobody even heard a shot. Now there's some speculation that a shot may not have even been fired. It's wild. And I don't want to, bludgeon that point, because most Americans know that attempt was staged, because we know Donald Trump and every single thing is about him. And if there was a legitimate attempt on his life, like if somebody tried to assassinate me, I wouldn't shut up about it, ever. If something legitimately happens to Trump where he believed his life was in danger, that is what he would be discussing. He would say, you know what, we need more dignitary protection. I'm going to allocate more resources to this. We're going to make sure that the Washington, Hilton, and other hotels have all the safety and security they need. Dude is talking about the ballroom, and use the incident as even more reason as to why he needs to have his ballroom. And I'm so confused about the ballroom. There's something else going on with that too, because the ballroom is not even slated to be finished until after he leaves office. Why are you so adamant on building something? And the construction has been paused because there has been some back and forth in court. Legitimately, Donald Trump and his administration did not have the authority to destroy 60 or 70,000 square feet of the White House. Did not have the authority to do it. They knew they didn't have the authority to do it. They went ahead and forged ahead with the plan any damn way. And now it's just a whole bunch of rubble. It's just awful. I don't even know who I want to vote for to succeed him to deal with a democracy that is a mess. There's no trust in government. They're playing with us. Now, other presidents have played with us as well, but at least we got something out of the deal. This is just blatant. The information I provided yesterday on the amount of money that the Make America Great Again merchandising empire has produced for this president, if he wasn't a billionaire, and there was some speculation on whether he had $1 billion or not, maybe on paper, maybe with his assets, and he also got in trouble in New York. He'd have like a $5 million condo, but then he would say it was worth $30 million, and he would borrow $30 million on a $5 million asset. Those were his felonies in New York. He lied about the value of his real estate, so we never could know how much money he actually had, because he also did something that broke ranks with previous presidents. He never released his tax returns. The American people want to know how much money our president has, and where there may be some conflicts of interest, but of course we're never going to find that out because he said that he was being audited. This is a man who controls the IRS. I assure you he is not getting audited, and if someone tried to, he would have them investigated and probably prosecuted. Lyndon Johnson said 60 plus years ago, if you give the lowest white man someone to look down on, he won't notice that you're picking his pocket. Hell, he'll empty his pockets for you. That is exactly what MAGA merchandise has done. The conservative estimate on the Make America Great Again, the hats, the T-shirts, the buttons, the bumper stickers, there's the Donald Trump shoe. All of the merchandise has brought in between $3 and $5 billion to Donald Trump's pockets. That is the point of his presidency. How can he grift a full 30% of the American people that may have voted for him for legitimate reasons? And some of those legitimate reasons might have been, I don't want Mexicans in here taking my jobs. Or I want him to bring manufacturing jobs back, someone might say. Or they might like the fact that he was not going to involve America in these endless and extremely expensive foreign wars. He lied about all of that, but he is grifting. All right, I got to take a break, come back. Oh, look, it's Alan. I know he's got a bunch of stuff to say, none of which is related to whatever my topic is so far. Oh, it is, you think? Okay, no, it's not. My producer says it's not, so we'll talk to him on the other side. But I want to get into consumer behavior because I know that folks that listen to this program, you tend to be smarter than most. In fact, some of you are very intelligent, very smart people, critically thinking people. But I want to shed light on something where we might still be in the dark, and it is how we have been through multiple generations influenced by companies, businesses, and corporations as they bombard us with advertising. Sometimes when we purchase things, it's almost subconscious. I want to delve into why we buy what we buy. That also is related to our YouTube poll of the day. Do you prefer to shop online or in person? So far, 53% of you prefer to shop online. 47% prefer to shop in person. That's along the lines of what I was thinking, because shopping online, it's so much easier. It's so convenient. It's just simple. I told y'all the story last year about how I just wanted a watermelon. It was the blackest thing I've ever done in my entire life. I placed an order for a watermelon via the Meejers grocery store app because I just wanted a watermelon. Got me a black diamond watermelon. And I have a Ring camera, so I saw the individual that dropped off my watermelon. They were black. They picked the worst possible watermelon they ever could have picked. I thought that black people were born with an instinct on how to pick a sweet watermelon. There's signs. There's telltale signs on how that melon looks. No, you don't knock on it to see if it sounds hollow. That's not a telltale sign. I'm so disappointed in the blacks. I almost had to fight Adam this morning. Adam, he still ain't off the hook. Bob is going to get his too. Both of them. Going to be light work for me. All right, let's take a break, come back. Continue our conversation on a Q&A, The Truth with Sherwin Hughes edition. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on where you purchase insurance and by state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Do you hear that? And that? And that? Those are the sounds of a healthy and vibrant community. And to this United Way volunteer, nothing sounds better. They're the sounds of children being given greater chances to succeed in school. The sounds of neighbors receiving the support needed to overcome challenges, both big and small. They're the sounds of families gaining access to quality health care and nutritious food for their tables. And they're the sounds of members of our community who've benefited from United Way's financial education programs. See, wherever there's a need in our communities, there's a United Way. People working together to respond and growing the good for everyone. United is the way. So join us by getting involved or giving back. Learn more at unitedway.org.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other. Leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Eight 212-1017. Make sure you save that number, especially if you were entered to win $5,000 courtesy of 1017 The Truth and Gruber Law Offices, because on Friday we about to make somebody not rich, but 5G moves the needle. It doesn't move it all the way, but you definitely can fill your car up with that. Let's talk to...
You can go buy some earrings or something.
Wait, what? Alan, what?
Oh, you're talking about... I didn't know I was talking to myself. You said $5,000. I said I can go buy some earrings or something with it. Well, what I'd probably do is donate. I'd probably donate it. I'm listening to you today, and I want to say, first of all, the shopping thing. I answered that on the poll, I think. I shop in person. I like to go in person. I actually hate shopping, but if I'm going to go, I like to make sure I'm getting what I'm getting. On my wife, she does the online shopping. It's nonstop. Perfumes, and then what else does she get online? Hair, things like that. What else? Sometimes some clothes. So that's something we do. What else was I going to tell? Let me ask you something here. Can I use when you're on I went back to work. But when you're on the air, do you mind if I used your with like high school and middle school kids? You mind if I played your stuff in the class and for current events?
Alan, I don't know if.
Or are you guys protected by that?
No, you can. It's public. You can play whatever you want. Know what I may be saying at the time you push play, and
that's what I'm a little bit worried about. But you do have the. You guys got the kill switch on there, right?
Yeah, but sometimes when people call in...
Because some of the things that you do...
Where are you teaching?
So when we're talking about current events, I'm not going to give you the name of the school, but I'm working at a charter school. I had to go back to work because of these developers driving me nuts. It's better for me to be out of the house sometimes. And then somebody made me an offer I couldn't refuse in terms of money. But
wait, are you a full-time teacher or are you substituting?
I'm a full-time teacher.
What grades do you teach?
I'm certified for anything I need, from K4 through high school. In the past, I've lectured at university. I used to teach a section called Law, Power, and the Constitution for political science every now and then.
Fascinating. Okay.
Advanced literature. Yeah, we all wear different hats. Sometimes I act like a goof on. That's kind of a lot of shtick. in the real world, I'm relatively professional. I'm pretty good at what I do. But I've taught multiple books in high schools a lot of times for accelerated advanced American lit. We might teach something modern 20th century novel. We'll pick up maybe I taught Tom Robbins Jitterbug Perfume before. Obviously Huck Finn. That gets a little bit old. Black Like Me. I know why the cage bird sings. A lot of it has to do with where I'm at. I try to pick things that might relate more to the kids, to the students. But anyway, I think I stuck on point today. I just wanted to tell you, you're doing a great job. The President Trump stuff is, I don't know about that. I mean, Teddy Roosevelt took a bullet here in Milwaukee and kept talking. I wouldn't want to be. He probably would have thrashed the guy who did it, too, to be honest. Now, that was a man.
The Bull Moose.
The thing I don't like. Yeah, the Bull Moose, my friend. That was his party. He was a sickly child, a child of great wealth. And he went out west and became a cowboy. He hung a rustler. And then my Uncle Willie, who we named our dog Little Willie Earl, he's named after my uncle, my grandmother's older brother, William Earl. He was he was in the military at 14, I believe. He was in the last Apache Wars. 14 or 15, he signed up. And he actually went up San Juan Hill with the Rough Riders. There's a thing in Kenosha, if you go to with the names of some guys. My Uncle Willie's on there, my grandfather. My Uncle Jack got his own thing down by the Marine Memorial. He was my daddy, too. But the thing with Mrs. Trump is she's gorgeous. I might not think she's I think my wife is the most beautiful woman on the planet. But
you got a black wife, for people that don't know. Your wife is African American.
Oh, yeah, she's very dark. But she's so pretty that when she sends me pictures in the morning, I wake up with her every day, and she'll send me a picture from work and be like, "Hey, baby," and I look at her and I feel like I'm the most blessed man on the planet. I get to do things that I like doing. I'm doing something now that I really, God gives us all gifts. I just love like being in the classroom and having kids, preparing them for a life of success.
That's beautiful, Alan, and it's wonderful that you love your wife and you think she's very beautiful.
Well, so did everybody else when they see her. I've never had nobody say that she's not. Because of this show, people have come up to us and in the malls and at stores and said, "Oh my God, you weren't lying, sir." And then she'll be like, "Oh, Alan, stop," But there you go. But yeah, I shop in person. As for money, I don't know. Whatever she wants, I guess, within reason. I'm not going to drive around Milwaukee in a Rolls Royce.
What kind of car do you have?
It'd be kind of silly. I got a few.
What's your favorite?
What I drive every day? 68 Dodge Dart.
You drive a 68 Dodge Dart every day? No.
Guess what no, not every day, but guess what my favorite one was? It's either that or my 72 Cutlass. I got a Delta convertible. 72
what's your daily?
convertible.
When you go run errands and you go to the store and you go in to teach the kids, what do you drive?
A Toyota Corolla.
Okay. What does she drive?
Around town. She don't really go anywhere. We're always together. I take her to work and come pick her up. If she was going to drive, she can drive. I don't know, whatever she wants, I guess.
All right. Thank you, Alan.
I'm not. No, because I don't park. I don't have all my stuff because of where we live.
So your wife doesn't have a car.
We got everything. She got everything I got. Yeah, she got cars. Everything's in her name.
But she doesn't drive.
She drives if she wants to. She just says, "Baby, you drive." She likes to sit in the car and look at herself in the mirror and, do whatever she's doing. She's like a girly girl.
So
I'm not going to have her drive. I get up every morning at 3:30 and I help her get ready, and then I take her to work. Then I come home. I might lay down for a little bit. I still got my online thing I do where I teach Chinese kids English.
Good God!
And then I get dressed and go to work. I take her to work what if something happened to her? Because we don't live in the best area, and there's always new people coming around. Now with this project they're building here, it's going to be kind of a crowd, bias. I'm going to have to get to know everybody again, right? And understand there's certain ramifications and parameters that we don't cross. Like she's off limits, and even the guys who do what they do, if they're blocking the street, they used to tax people by us. You know what I mean? And they just leave you alone after a little bit because I'm not going to back up once I turn the corner.
I got to take a break. I got to go now because I got to take.
All right. You take care, my friend.
all
God
right.
bless you.
All right,
Bye-bye.
then. Okay, then. All right. What happened there? What was that? I don't even. He just takes you on a ride. I couldn't get off for some reason. I was on the ride. I was like, let's just let him talk. He's like, oh, and I also teach English to Chinese kids. And his wife doesn't have a car, but he's got a whole bunch of cars, a 68 Dart and a Cutlass, and he gets up at 3:30 in the morning and helps his wife get ready. What is she, a quadriplegic? I don't understand what's happening right now.
How do people know what he looks like?
So he has shared many, many, many pictures of him and his wife, and I have posted them in the Hughes Views Facebook group because a lot of folks who listen to this program that have not attended our in-person events, they always wonder what frequent callers may look like. And so whenever I get pictures, I post them. And Alan and his wife, all you got to do is see them once, and you can recognize them in a crowd of 5,000 people.
What do they look like?
Go look him up. I'll tell you what his last name is. You need to see it for yourself. There's no description for. There's an obvious age difference.
What's the age difference?
It's got to be 20, 25 years. Easy.
Oh, so his wife is my age. In her 30s?
It's hard to tell, though, with black ladies, because sometimes a black woman will be 61 and look like she's in college. You know what I'm saying? So it's...
Black
okay.
Don't crack, right?
No, not really. Not... Black might smoke crack, but it doesn't wrinkle.
You know a lot of crack smokers?
No. I didn't think people actually still smoke crack. And I also don't like how people get all nostalgic about the crack era. Like, oh, Sherwin, all of this trouble in our community goes back to the crack era. Y'all make it seem like everybody was smoking crack. You had to, search for people smoking crack. They weren't just walking around on the bus and just swinging from traffic lights. It wasn't that kind of an epidemic. It was not as bad as people think. I think we just want to blame something because we can't always articulate the many different forms of racism, which I got some racism examples. Structural, architectural racism, engineering racism that most people don't notice. I also have a belt around my neck because I feel like today I'm going to need it. Some of y'all...
Yeah, you're about business today.
Some of y'all need discipline. Put some belts on. Oh, I'm showing my taco meat showing. I don't want to show too much skin.
Well, I thought you were auditioning for a caller yesterday.
I ain't got to audition. I already got the part. She called me. I got to take a break. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. Coming with straight truth.
We can do anything when it comes to being organized, when it comes to making sure that we're active, when it comes to making sure that we're holding people accountable and making sure that we get something out of the deal. Y'all don't know how to make deals. Y'all mad at Donald J. Trump because he's trying to make deals or trying to say that he's the master of the art of the deal. Well, okay, what deals is you trying to make?
Catch the Tory Lowe Show every weekday from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m.
Want to save money on energy bills? With free tools from We Energies, you're in control. Manage your energy use with easy tips. Earn rebates on home upgrades. Calculate your energy use. Create savings goals. View and compare bills, and more. With We Energies, the energy info you need is at your fingertips. Save your way at WeEnergies.com/simple savings or download the app. We Energies. Simple steps, real savings.
Our children deserve a real chance to make it in life, and a good education is a passport to opportunity. At City Ford Collective, we're working to make sure there's a great Milwaukee school for every Milwaukee family, because more good options lead to better outcomes. And who doesn't want that? Together, we can give every child the foundation they need to thrive, and a stronger future for kids means a stronger future for Milwaukee. To learn more about our mission, visit us at cityfordcollective.org. That's cityfordcollective.org.
You're a hard worker. Provide for your family and help out in your community. You've been there for so many others. But when life challenges you, when rising costs, unexpected repairs, medical bills, or simply a rough stretch make it hard to keep up on a limited or low income, you're not alone. Your local Wisconsin energy and emergency assistance providers are here for you, working together to keep you safely in your home and your heat and power on. If you're struggling with high utility bills, facing a disconnect notice, or dealing with a furnace emergency and your limited or low income isn't enough, support is available. Visit www.heat.help or call 1-800-506-5596 to apply for a hand up.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
We might as well just keep it going. Hello, Bob.
Hello, Sherwin. You know, you started already. I don't know why I called you, but I'm just going to call you today because you entered this Renee. And Renee, you got to understand, some women and men are born with class. It's a few women that actually are born with class. Now, what does that mean, class? That means you have to stop acting like Elvis Presley or Denzel Washington. I can tell you how you acted like that this morning. You said, the woman, you said, she called me, and, you know, and they normally call me, they just want to get into my pants. How you know she want to get in your pants, Sherwin? She's born with class. I can tell how she talks. I think she is. You know, so you have to, you know, it's two things. You got to stop acting like Elvis Presley or Denzel Washington. And she doesn't want her privacy on the air. She's a little fearful of you, Sherwin. You know, you might say something, and she likes her privacy. She's born with class. Try to understand that, Sherwin.
Bob, I'm very uncomfortable having this conversation with you. Because I don't think you would know a classy woman if she came and sat on your little itty-bitty tiny lap.
Well, I know she sounds very much like she was born with class. And I think that 84-year-old man will kind of whoop you, man, because, you know, I don't know, man. At his age, too, because that man is I humble myself to that man. I ain't got time to mess with that man.
Well, we know he would whoop you. A heavy gust of wind could whoop you.
Yeah, and so, you know, always, it's my last point that I want to say.
You didn't even make your first point.
When you win that $5,000, say, okay, Sherwin, thank you for letting me win that money, and tell your radio station thank you. He ain't supposed to holler and yell. You know, ain't nobody, if he wins $1 million, thank you, Sherwin. Tell your radio station, I appreciate it. Talk to you later. And get off the phone. Ain't nobody supposed to be yelling. And other than that, I'll talk to you later, man, you know?
So this is the kind of day we're having? This is what we're doing? I titled the show Q&A because I thought that people would have legitimate questions about things, maybe community, maybe political, you know, just maybe about the governor's race in Wisconsin, politics overall. Maybe somebody wants something demystified about federal policy and the rescheduling of marijuana. This is what I am thinking this very intelligent and very intuitive and engaged audience would want to discuss. And so far, what have we had? an 84-year-old man who said that if he was younger, he would whoop me. Alan apparently is back teaching again, teaching majority black children. Oh, and by the way, he's got a whole bunch of cars. His wife doesn't drive any of them, and he also teaches Chinese people how to speak English, so we learned that. Bob called in being a hater, par for the course, trying to remark on a telephone call that I took yesterday with Renee. Was Renee yesterday? Or Renee was Tuesday? Monday?
That was yesterday.
Okay. All right. So we have hour 2 of the show coming up, and we're going to start with a fresh slate. We're just going to charge hour 1 to the game. Hour 1 I tried to lay a foundation. I want to talk about African-American consumerism and how they have engineered in our community brand loyalty. And this goes back a couple of generations, why African-Americans prefer the brands and the products that we prefer. I want to deconstruct where that came from, because if we're going to be truly woke, not their definition of woke. First of all, woke is our word. White folks, if you want to use the word woke, get permission. Just like if you want to use the N-word. No, don't. Can a white person say it?
No.
We had a white person say it, I don't know, a couple of months ago, and I dared him to say it.
Where?
Here, on the air. And he said hard ER ending, too.
Interesting.
Yeah, he said it.
No, I don't permit that.
A lot of people, your generation and younger, multi-races of people say the N-word. So why don't we do this? Oh, look at this. Look who's... No, we're not taking his call again. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back for hour 2.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
28 years on the Packers.
I would flat out cut his ass to send a message.
37 years playing in the NFL.
This is the best win in the Matt LaFleur era.
87 years covering the Packers.
And that's what happened in the fourth quarter. That's all. He has been really good.
And 46 years of being on ESPN.
I said to Herman Edwards one time, it's hard to win a game in the NFL. He said, John, it's hard to make a first down.
There's no place with more experience when it comes to talking about the green and gold. All day, every day. We are 94.5 ESPN.
In 1987, the Bucks took on the world and changed basketball forever.
At stake, basketball supremacy in the United States.
Bucks versus the World, narrated by Charlie Behrens, is the new season of Behind the Bucks podcast, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. It's the untold story of the 1987 McDonald's Open, when the Bucks became the first NBA team to face the Soviet Union. Listen now on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and wherever you get podcasts.
Want to protect our planet? The air we breathe, water we drink, and land we share? Real progress begins with birds. Yes, birds. The very ones we see and hear every day. On a walk, in the park, or simply out the window. That's because birds are more than birds. They're symbols, sentinels that reveal the health of our planet and our people. And by helping them thrive, all of us thrive as well. Audubon is a place where birds matter, where habitats are protected, where communities are engaged, and where change takes flight. Because at Audubon, hope begins with birds. Progress begins with birds. It all begins with birds. Audubon.
You've been diagnosed with COPD, but breathing seems to be getting harder. Everyday activities, walking to the mailbox, going up the stairs, talking on the phone take more effort than they used to. You're short of breath more often. Flare-ups are happening more frequently. And slowly, life starts to feel smaller. Is this you? If your COPD symptoms are getting worse, there may be options that can help you breathe easier and get back to doing more of what matters to you. That could mean walking further, spending more time with family and friends, feeling more confident leaving the house, and getting back to the life you want to live. If your COPD is changing, it's time to have a conversation with your doctor. Visit the COPD Foundation website at isthisyoucopd.org to learn the signs of severe and worsening COPD and the right questions to ask next. Take action today. Breathe better tomorrow.
Get the truth and nothing but the truth with Sherwin Hughes every weekday from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. on 101.7 FM, 1510 a.m. WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
Yeah.
Welcome to Hour 2 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. I was scrolling on the social medias, which is a great way to procrastinate. And there was a picture of a plate of food. I can't even tell you what was on the plate because I was so fascinated by the commentary. And maybe you see these pictures on your feeds as well. It'll be an overflowing plate of probably delicious but unhealthy food. And then it'll ask a question, what drink goes well with this? Have you guys ever seen those? It might be breakfast. Could be a hamburger and french fries. Some display of edible deliciousness. And then they'll ask the question. And they probably post those pictures with those words, what drink goes well with this, to get engagement. Because Facebook will, in fact, pay you for engagement on your posts, regardless of what the damn post is about. And I noticed something that I simply could not ignore, and it was so consistent that I wanted to know more about it. And I noticed that the African American respondents on this Facebook post, where it was a plate of food and then the question in text above the plate, what drink goes well with this food? Probably 80+% of the African American respondents said Pepsi. Pepsi, Pepsi, Pepsi. And it made me wonder, were they saying Pepsi because the previous person also said Pepsi? Were they just mimicking or copying one another? Or is there some kind of affinity or brand loyalty that African Americans have toward Pepsi? Personally, I don't really care. Whatever is available, I'll drink. If it's Diet Coke, if it's Diet Pepsi, I don't buy carbonated beverages. Very rarely do I ever. If I'm buying carbonated beverages, it's because I'm entertaining and I'm mixing drinks, but I don't just like buy Diet Coke, Diet Pepsi, any kind of soda just to have at home. I just prefer to drink water, or I might put a little splash of Mio, you know, those water flavor enhancers, because it's got B12 vitamins in it, and I might do a little splash of a water flavor enhancer, or I'll do a little Crystal Light, give a little flavor, but I don't really purchase carbonated beverages. I haven't for some time. But it was overwhelming, the number of African Americans that said Pepsi. And I wanted to investigate, like, how did this come to pass? Like, what am I missing? Like, why do I not favor Pepsi like other folks do? Well, there's some truth to this. That Pepsi orchestrated a concerted marketing campaign in the 1940s to target either an undiscovered or an ignored consumer market. So prior to that, brands didn't really focus on the African American community because they didn't want to go through the hard work and the effort of showcasing us, our culture, and our lifestyle in order to sell us products. They sold and did their marketing campaigns to the largest consumer groups, and oftentimes the wealthiest consumer groups at the time prior to the 1940s, which was simply Caucasian folks, and just assumed that black people would purchase out of necessity or based upon whatever meager financial means that we had. But Pepsi, under the leadership of a guy named Walter Mack, was like, no, we can do something very specific to tap into the African American consumer market, and it worked. Pepsi, under Walter Mack, is one of the clearest early examples of a major U.S. corporation recognizing black consumers as a serious market rather than ignoring or stereotyping them. That strategy helped create durable, multi-generational brand affinity. Many other firms later used the similar approach. I will tell you now that as of 2025, the African American consumer base, how much money we spend, this is not how much money we save, this is not how much money we have in assets and other durable, appreciating things of value. This is just how much money we spend. $2.1 trillion. In 1990, it was $318 billion. Our consumer spending has gone up almost tenfold since the year 1990, and brands are very, very aware of that. What makes me nervous is that the way you advertise and promote to us is heavily influential. They are in our wallets and in our pocketbooks with how they promote their brands to us. And money is leaving our community based upon marketing and campaign strategies that they put together. And it's a very, very covert kind of manipulation. That is why I want us to be much more informed consumers. Buy a product because you like it, because it makes you feel good, because it's reasonably priced and it's competitive. Don't just respond to advertising. It's also very unusual, this other phenomenon, because performers, artists, I wonder if this is where we bring up Megan Thee Stallion. I posted something on social media about her, and I regret it. I probably should take it down. I said, well, I would cheat on Megan Thee Stallion, too, and the number of women that got mad at me. I mean, I did it on purpose just to troll y'all. It's amazing how parasocial some people are. People think that they actually know Megan Thee Stallion because they know her music, and then may follow her on her many social media platforms, and they think that they know her. They don't know what kind of a monster that woman might be and how terrible she may treat her men, but we're so parasocial. Like, we see these celebrities and we think that they're our friends. We think that we know everything about their lives. We do not. And then people will say, well, if Megan can't keep a man faithful, I can't either. You can't keep a man faithful regardless of what Megan Thee Stallion is doing. She's got a whole trail of Negroes that she's done been with. And what man in his right mind would ever take a woman like that seriously? I'm sorry if I offend some of you parasocial people that think you're also the reincarnation of Megan Thee Stallion. Sorry. Not sorry. For much of the early and mid-20th century, mainstream advertising either A, excluded black people completely, B, used derogatory stereotypes, or C, ignored black media outlets and black neighborhoods. So when companies featured dignified black families, hired black sales staff, bought ads in black newspapers and magazines, and sponsored civil rights organizations, or invested in black talent, it often stood out and it built trust. In the 1940s, the Pepsi Company pioneered marketing to black Americans by creating an all-black sales team featuring black families in dignified professional ads rather than stereotypes and targeting sales in black communities. Led by Edward F. Boyd, this team overcame discrimination in the Jim Crow South to build strong brand loyalty, making Pepsi notably more popular in the black community than competitor Coca-Cola at the time. The Negro Markets Department, they called it. In the 1940s, Pepsi CEO Walter Mack aimed for a largely ignored market. He hired pioneering black salesmen and marketing staff, including Edward F. Boyd and H. Naylor Fitzhugh, who was later known as the Dean of African American Business Education, breaking advertising barriers. Pepsi, I didn't know any of this about Pepsi, but it made sense why so many African American respondents on this particular Facebook post said that Pepsi would go great with this meal. And I don't even remember what the meal was, but 80+% of the African Americans who responded on that social media post said Pepsi. And I had to figure out why, because they were intentional in marketing to us. And I think it still operates the exact same way. If you can get Fortune 500 companies to hire African American sales staff and marketing professionals that intrinsically know and understand our consumer behavior and just our general behavior as African Americans, those companies can double and triple their profits. I can always tell when I see an advertisement, because I'm very sensitive to advertising because I work at a damn radio station. Our life's blood is advertising. And so I look at the subtleties of different ads that I'm exposed to, and I try and figure out their position, their aim, their focus, and how they are trying to convince me out of my money, which is not easy. I can always tell when it was a white marketing firm that put together the advertising campaign designed to impact and influence black consumer behavior, because it just seems hollow. It's still based on crazy stereotypes of black folks acting a fool and dancing around and looking silly. This is also why I have this other problem. So whenever we as African-American black people hire or enlist Caucasian firms and Caucasian consultants to help us market to our own people, it's always a miserable failure. Now, without mentioning any names, there are a number of African-American candidates for political office who simply refuse to hire African-American political consultants. They hire white ones. Why they do this, I have no idea, because how white political consultants try to package and polish a black candidate for public office is disrespectful to the black community. Now, I'm not making any specific statements about any particular candidates, but I will say this. If African American candidates running for public office need to maximize the untapped votes in the black community, they can never do it by hiring Caucasian political consultants, because those Caucasian political consultants will do their level best to whitewash a black candidate to make them look, seem, feel, and even taste as unblack as possible, and it doesn't work. I can tell when the marketing is authentic to us because it shows us how we actually are. We're a loving people, an affectionate people, tight-knit families and communities, which is contrary to what the world may think about black folks. You may just think they're all fighting in Taco Bells. Side note, did you all happen to see, I really don't want to talk about it because I've been embarrassed by things in the past, but this one really embarrassed me. There was a fight at a Taco Bell in Muskego where the customers and the staff got into physical altercations in front of and behind the counter. And one of the Taco Bell employees had a firearm on their person at Taco Bell. Do you know how crazy it is to see somebody wearing a Taco Bell work uniform and then pull out a 9mm pistol? Like, sir, who are you shooting? The bean burritos? And so when I read the caption of firearm, pulled out at Muskego Taco Bell, I'm like, wow, the fentanyl is really getting to the whites. They're starting to act a lot like us. I saw the video. Why Muskego? I get Muskego and Mugwanago mixed up. I think they're both in Waukesha County, but to me there's no difference between them, because there's no difference. Muskego and Mugwanago, they're majority white towns that have Native American names. Their land was stolen from Native American people, but it's weird because racist white people will always live in the most Native American named towns. Milwaukee's another example. And I'm thinking, wow, look at the whites. They're just acting so silly. Everybody was black. There are black people. The entire staff at a Taco Bell in Muskego. Have we, as black folks, colonized Muskego? Are there people driving from... Well, hell, if you work at a Taco Bell in Muskego, you could also be from Beloit. It's damn near as close to Beloit as it is to Milwaukee. So I can't understand. Take a break, come back. I almost want to show that video. It's so... No, X, we can't. I don't want to make us look bad because we're a deeply affectionate, loving, protective community. But what the media will have people think, especially if you don't know black people, and most of you don't know black people. Or let me take that back. You know black people, but they're not your friends. When a white person grows up in a segregated space away from us, like their schools were segregated, the college they went to was predominantly white, the workplace and the corporate job that they have is majority Caucasian, their bar is so low for black friendship, it's embarrassing, and we got to stop that. And also, us as black folks, we got to stop letting white folks that just barely know our names say that we are their friends. Oh, Sherwin, I'm not racist. I have black friends. Oh, you do? Have you ever been to their house? Well, no. Have they ever been to yours? No, then they're not your friends. I think they use that as a defense. Oh, I've got black friends, Sherwin. Well, who are they? My employees. Oh, shut up. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Tune into the award-winning 101.7 The Truth's Financial Literacy Month Spotlight with UW Credit Union this Thursday at 3:57 p.m. between The Tori Lowe Show and Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris. We'll be joined by Lauren Bordeaux, Member Service Operations Help Manager at UW Credit Union, where she will discuss the great benefits of becoming a member at UW Credit Union and share great financial tips that help you best grow your financial wealth. Again, that's the Financial Literacy Month Spotlight this Thursday with UW Credit Union at 3:57 p.m. right here on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth.
In Milwaukee County, equity means making sure everyone has a real chance to thrive. That's why the Milwaukee County Office of Equity works to help remove barriers, strengthen community connections, and support fair access to opportunities across Milwaukee County. Want to learn what they do, explore resources, or find ways to get involved? Just search Milwaukee County Office of Equity online. Milwaukee County Office of Equity, advancing equity for all Milwaukee County residents. For more information, search Milwaukee County Office of Equity online.
Still think you're going to use those old chemicals just sitting around under the sink, in the garage, or down in the basement? We're talking things like old antifreeze, paint thinners, batteries, propane cylinders, and pesticides. So don't let them sit there. Get rid of them right away. To MMSD's Home Hazmat Drop-Off Centers. It's safe, it's easy, and it's open to all Milwaukee County residents. There are 3 locations open year-round. Let's clean up Milwaukee.
I'm Sherwin Hughes, and I know the power of Stars and Stripes Honor Flight firsthand. As someone who's been on an honor flight, I can tell you it's a day you'll never forget. Stars and Stripes Honor Flight gives our oldest veterans who served in any location in June of 1975 or earlier a free one-day trip to Washington, D.C. for veterans. Airfare, meals, a coach bus tour, and special flight apparel are all included. It's a day of honor, gratitude, and camaraderie. Veterans who served in the Vietnam or Korean War go to flySSHF.org and ask for an application.
70 million people in the U.S. have learning and thinking differences, like ADHD and dyslexia. Each has their own story. This is ours. At first, I thought it was just a phase. Then schoolwork became a struggle. Emotions got bigger, and my kids started falling behind. I felt alone, like I was lost in the dark trying to find answers. Then I learned about Understood.org, a nonprofit empowering parents and kids like us. It was like we had a light to show us the path ahead. Whenever new challenges came up, their guidance helped us figure out our next step. We still have tough days, but now we have direction. And I have the tools and resources I need to help my child thrive. No matter where you are on the path, Understood can help you keep moving forward. Visit understood.org/yourpath today.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
There's a surprising number of people who are here at the 3rd Street Market Hall just walking around and looking in our studios, which is fine because we broadcast in these gigantic windows. And I realize like people are stopping and staring and looking at me a little bit longer than they're staring in the other windows because I can see when somebody's in front of the 620 WTMJ window and the ESPN Milwaukee window, and then the Truth window is the next one over, and people are stopping and staring a little bit longer. Whenever somebody is at the window, I always wave to them, and they wave back. That's very nice. They're very friendly people. But then I realized, as they're looking in the studio, my damn belt, they're seeing a belt on the table here. So people got to be thinking, oh, that Blackie has got his belt on the... And they're all white people, of course. I don't want to play the Taco Bell video, but I feel like, because people are talking about it in the YouTube chat, somebody else brought up a woman stabbed, was it her date? Over dinner? That doesn't shock me. She was a Caucasian lady and she stabbed. I mean, did she not like the food? Did she? We're going to play for you in a little while a sales training video, because I want people to be familiar with how the corporate types get together and figure out how they're going to sell stuff to us, because there's something very particular about the African-American consumer. Once you break into our market, you potentially have us forever. Nike figured that out. McDonald's figured that out. Coca-Cola was a little bit late to the party. They figured it out. Have you ever just wondered, or maybe it's me that wondered these things, why we as black people are so incredibly identified by particular brands? Cadillac used to be one of them, not so much anymore, but the African-American consumer saved Cadillac. You know that Cadillac wouldn't even sell vehicles to black people? We had to have, and there's a number of African-American celebrities where they would have to have a white person purchase the Cadillac for them. That white person would then sell that Cadillac to the African-American at an inflated price. But Cadillac wasn't doing so very well, I think in the 1940s or the 1950s. And they're like, well, hell, we got to try and open Cadillac brand up to different consumer markets. And black people literally saved Cadillac. So we've always had this, because they're one of the first automobiles that were intentional in marketing to us, because they kept Cadillac, because they didn't want this is how crazy it is. They didn't want the perception of the brand of Cadillac to be tarnished. And so they would not sell from showrooms and from dealerships to African Americans. But then when Cadillac was about to go belly up, they opened up their products and their vehicles to African Americans. And we literally saved Cadillac, that division of General Motors, from bankruptcy. And I don't want to sound like a stereotype, but one of the best vehicles I ever had, I had a 1991 Cadillac Seville. Good God, I love that car. I drove that car because I bought it in 2005, and I drove it for 10 years. I bought it off of eBay. Had 40,000 miles on it, and I drove it for a full decade and had next to no problems with it. My mother owned 2 Cadillacs as well. Not that I want to sound like a stereotype, but there's something about a Cadillac. Now Cadillacs are weird. Now I don't. Their electric vehicles are weird. Their Escalade is insanely expensive. The electrified Cadillac Escalade has got to be $150,000, $160,000. For a Cadillac? No, thank you. You know how much I paid for my 1991 Cadillac? And it was in mint condition. It was owned by an old lady who didn't do nothing but take it to the grocery store and kept it in the garage. I paid $3,500 for that car, and it came with an extra set of wheels and tires. So the entire time that I had that vehicle, I never had to purchase another set of tires because it came with a brand new set of tires. $100,000 for a Cadillac? I think that they have priced us out of purchasing Cadillacs, because I think they're more like focused on European vehicle buyers. In the 1940s, Pepsi created one of corporate America's earliest dedicated black marketing efforts. It hired black sales professionals and used positive imagery of middle-class black life in advertising. Pepsi's outreach reportedly made black consumers far more likely than peers to choose Pepsi over Coke in most major African-American markets. We have a clip of a sales video. I think it's from the 1950s. It's fascinating. So go on over to YouTube. You'll be able to view the video. If you're listening via the app or in your radio, you'll be able to hear the audio, but it's an actual training video of how they train Caucasian salespeople to sell to African Americans. And the video is literally called Selling to the Negro. Let's play that clip.
Here is what sales psychologists have to say about selling to the Negro.
The secret of selling to the Negro is expressed in one word. That word is recognition. Now, there's nothing unusual about that. People want to be recognized. They need recognition. That's basic in all of us. But perhaps because he's had so little of it, the Negro needs even more. He needs to feel important and appreciated. This need is a very real and important one. It shows up even in many of the Negro's shopping habits. Anyone who sells or wants to sell to the Negro customer should know about some of these habits. 3 habits in particular play a big part in every sales transaction. To begin with, most Negroes buy by brand. They ask for products by name. They're quick to turn down off-brands. Buying by brand, that's the first important Negro buying habit. Now for the second. The Negro buys good quality merchandise. Symbols of quality and prestige are very important to the Negro customer. This woman, for example, is buying fine crystalware. But she is also buying the admiration and approval of her friends and relatives. Listen to her thoughts.
My, isn't it beautiful? I can hardly wait to show it to Sally and Joan.
It's a well-known fact that many Negro customers are influenced by the opinions of others. What their friends may think of a certain item often decides whether or not the sale is made. So remember, the Negro buys quality merchandise. That's the second important point. And here's the third thing to remember when selling to a Negro customer. When he specifically asks for one thing, don't try to sell him something else. Don't try to switch him at the point of sale. If you do, he'll probably react something like this.
Doesn't he think I've got the money to pay for it?
The Negro resents being offered a substitute. He wants to be sold on quality, not price. The Negro buys by brand, he buys quality, and he doesn't like to be switched at point of sale. These are the keys to selling the Negro customer.
According to leading researchers, in proportion to population and income, Negroes buy more quality products than any other comparable United States group.
That's so offensive. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance, because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 10 and 35%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Our children deserve a real chance to make it in life, and a good education is a passport to opportunity. At City Ford Collective, we're working to make sure there's a great Milwaukee school for every Milwaukee family, because more good options lead to better outcomes. And who doesn't want that? Together, we can give every child the foundation they need to thrive, and a stronger future for kids means a stronger future for Milwaukee. To learn more about our mission, visit us at cityfordcollective.org. That's cityfordcollective.org.
Honest, direct, and always thought-provoking.
Even if the system don't make sense anymore. And that's the part we got to be honest about. Education is not a theory. It's not a title. It's not a category. It's a student, it's a teacher, it's a classroom, and there's learning. Everything, everybody else, including the superintendent herself, are secondary. Assistant superintendents, or whatever the heck you call them, deputy, chief of school, everybody, they are secondary if a child's not learning. The student is the number one thing there. So if we've reached the point where the only way to defend the system is to argue that keeping teachers out of the classroom is essential to education, then we're not just confused. We backwards. And when policy, practice, priorities, and money collide like that, there's only one word for all of this: nonsense.
Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris, weekdays from 4 to 6, live on YouTube and broadcasting on 101.7 The Truth.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
And so did you.
When you raised your hand and swore an oath to your country, when you put your name on a dotted line, you became part of only 1% of Americans who did the same. You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran. Because no matter when, where, or how you served, you made a sacrifice for your country, and you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Reach out to a loved one, to a fellow veteran, to VA.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Eight 833-212-1017, 833-212-1017. Some of the most popular brands with African Americans came to be the most popular brands because they were very intentional in marketing to us. And the thing about it is, you don't even have to maintain your marketing budgets with African Americans. If you have a real concerted effort to target us, hire black sales executives and sales professionals, and once you capture the black consumer market, we will do the rest for you. Because then if let's say there's a product like, I don't know, cognac or Hennessy. In fact, one of the brands is, and I just found this out this morning, that they're all under one umbrella. The brand is called LVMH/Hennessy. LVMH Hennessy. Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy. Oh, those are loved brands by the African American community. Hennessy marketed in Johnson Publishing Company magazines like Ebony and Jet in the 1940s. Hired black executives and became one of the first luxury alcohol brands visibly courting black consumers. Now, those brands appear in our music. And, you know, few things have cultural impact and cultural influence like African-American music, hip-hop, R&B, etc. Think about how many times a particular brand or type of liquor is mentioned in our music. So once the brand connects and attaches itself to our culture, then it gets into the music, and then they don't have to spend a penny advertising to black folks no more, because once it gets into our music, then they have the black consumer. Let's talk to a black consumer. Eastside Core, who are you talking to, man? You're supposed to be talking to me. I hear you whispering to yourself.
I am so agreeing with you, sir. You just ran one of my favorite clips from the 1950s. I don't know, is it John Cameron Swayze who was the announcer? I don't know, is it the sound of that, when you're selling to the black or the Negro, this is what you need to do. Whenever I have a discussion, because advertising is my game and my degree, it's offensive. Why? Is it offensive because a lot of things that they're saying is true, or is the way the announcer is giving the information? Or is it that we live in a time where we don't want to live up to any stereotype? But stereotypes are usually based on something. And this is called capitalism at its best. When we were, at the same time when you ran that clip, you have to also know that the people working in the factories were also offering opportunities, say Cadillac or General Motors. Black people were making these cars. They were making Cadillacs. And so they were like, that was their brand because they were making those brands. So it was a badge of honor to make the car and then be able to buy it. The biggest marketing peak came in the 70s with Jet and Ebony magazine, as you had mentioned, where hair products, what we drank, what we ate, all catered to us and was created for us, by us, and was supported by us. we also have that branding power to this day. I often wonder why or how these rap artists suddenly become billionaires. It's the liquor branding that puts them up there on the charts.
That's right.
And so I think it's a beautiful Black Belt Wednesday hump day. The first hour, I have to tell you, sir, I laughed so hard, I laughed myself right on off my chair. So entertaining, the characters on this show. I had to get off the chat because it was so spicy. And you, sir, please put the belt back on because I actually, I find it a little bit of a turn on. Okay?
I told you the old dudes like you.
I don't got nothing to say to that.
I agree 100%. We are, just imagine if we could harness, once again, you're building awareness. I know this is the educational hour, but please, this history is so important as to how capitalism works. Right now, with Trump and the what's happening, I sat and I watched the pomp and circumstance when he's trying to impress England right now, and I sat and I watched that thing, and I was like, oh, that's another form of marketing. This is where it comes from. This is where capitalism comes from. It's all about the image. Why things feel so weird right now is because AI is educating us to not accept the BS. We're all looking side-eye going, that looks fake, even if it is reality. It could be this, it could be that. They're testing the waters to see what we're willing to believe. And I don't care what political party you belong to, nobody's buying this level of BS, including that moon launch they tried to do last week. You see what I'm saying?
You thought that wasn't real?
Fake.
You don't think it was real?
It felt. I wanted it to be like how we grew up, or how I grew up, where we weren't exposed to so much of what things really look like, where we just trusted that this was the real thing. But now my brain is so well trained on what is fake, I'm not buying everything. Lately, when I'm presented with a story or a headline or a picture that flashes on my phone or screen, especially if it has to do with clickbait, just to get my attention, I don't believe the title and I don't believe the picture because it's all created by AI. So it's a weird juxtaposition we find ourselves in, but we are in the power seat. And like you said, they're going to get my money. They're going to have to do a little bit better, okay? If you're going to be evil, you got to really do it correctly. So,
all right, I'm going to go put my belt back on.
Yes, please. Kawash. Bye-bye. Have a good day.
Okay. You too. Let me stick on point here. How some entertainers become exceptionally wealthy. 50 Cent, how do I say 50? 50 Cent. 50 Cent. 50 Cent. What was his drink? He's vitamin water, I think, and then he sold it or licensed it to Coca-Cola, and I think that put him at or near $1 billion. Dr. Dre, who I believe top 5 greatest music producers of all time, of any genre, had Beats, the headphones. I never wanted Beats. I have these. These are my headphones here. These are called One Audios. I love these. These are very good headphones. I got like 4 pair of these. But Beats headphones, it should have made Dr. Dre a billionaire, but something happened the night before the announcement to the world where Dr. Dre was going to be either partnering with Beats, or I think Beats was going to... Didn't Apple buy Beats? Or don't they have a... I'm pretty sure that Apple has got some collaboration with Dr. Dre and his Beats brand. I don't know how they're connected, if there's a collaboration, whatever. But Dre started bragging that his deal, it was a secret. No one was supposed to know until they were ready to unveil this partnership with Beats headphones and Apple. Dre started bragging that he would be, I think, the first black billionaire or something to that effect, or that the deal was going to make him close to $1 billion. It got out that he was running his mouth and he was bragging about the collaboration with Apple. I could be off base a little bit, but there's a story that I remember and it stuck with me. But over time, the memory may have faded a little bit. But there was some collaboration between Beats headphones and Apple. And Dre started bragging and telling people before the deal was finalized. And then Apple, instead of making it the $1 billion deal it was originally supposed to be, they cut it to like $250 million because they were upset that he was bragging about how much money he was going to profit from the collaboration with Apple, and they cut the deal by like 75%. Very interesting stuff. Even though it's slightly off topic, X, did you find the clip of the people in the Taco Bell? I want to see it. Should we play it? Let's play it. We'll play it. It's so awful. And it's in Muskego, yeah? Or Muskego, Wisconsin. If you go to YouTube, you'll be able to see something you would not expect to see at, not saying you wouldn't expect this at a Taco Bell, but a Muskego.
Exclusive new video tonight of the brawl between customers and staff at a Taco Bell in Muskego.
In surveillance video obtained by 12 News, the driver of a vehicle in the drive-thru is seen arguing with a worker for at least 5 minutes before getting out of the car, still at the window, and coming inside. He bumps a worker as he tries to get behind the counter, and then he and his female friend, who has now joined him, shove their way to the food prep area, leading to more shoving and punches being thrown. As the belligerent customer goes down, his friend then exchanging blows with workers, one of whom has armed himself with a handgun, using it to hit the man, but he doesn't fire it. Another worker then throws a pitcher of hot water at the woman friend, leading to more brawl. That worker still holding his handgun, and even after the pair leave, they return, the man attacking the woman who had the water pitcher as she tries to fight him off. But still, they weren't quite done. The man returns again, shirt ripped, to toss food all around the kitchen area, joined by his friend, tossing cheese, chips, and anything else they could get their hands on onto the floor, generally trashing the restaurant before leaving, right before police arrive on scene.
Exclusive new video tonight of the brawl between customers and staff at a Taco Bell in Muskego.
In surveillance video obtained by 12 News, the driver of a vehicle in the drive-thru is seen arguing with a worker for at least.
The comments that people were leaving underneath this video, the original posting on social media. Okay, that's enough, X. I think they're just repeating it now, right? Is this repeating? Now they're just throwing stuff. Okay, I think I'm probably lagging behind. But I don't want, because somebody had commented in our YouTube chat like, oh, the comments were so racist when they posted this on social media. Of course the comments are going to be racist. Of course they are. What would you expect? Do you think that white folks that live in southwestern Waukesha County won't say racist things about a Taco Bell that is clearly all black staffed, and then other African Americans come in the Taco Bell, start a physical altercation with the all black Taco Bell staff, and then one of the Taco Bell staff pulls a pistol out from underneath their Taco Bell work shirt? You could not possibly fit more black stereotypes in one 49-second video if you tried. That was almost like intentionally orchestrated and produced. You got fast food, you got fighting, you got somebody pulling out a gun. It is degeneracy, as somebody said in the YouTube chat. So when things like that get shared on social media, now we have to say things like, well, that's not all black people. These were just a couple of bad apples. But if you are unfamiliar with African Americans, if you don't know a variety of black folks, you may think that we all act that way. Or maybe if you listen to this program, especially today during hour one, and you heard me threatening the lives of 2 black senior citizens, which really is the origin of black on black crime, you may think that I'm like that too. But I'm not. What I'm saying is don't push me. And I don't know if somebody ordered extra sour cream on their burrito supreme, or someone wanted a hard shell taco and they got a soft shell taco. I don't know what the altercation was about, but expect racist and stereotypical commentary. And why even be offended by that? The only people that would be offended by racist commentary on a video like that, hell, I might be in the comments saying racist stuff, is if you relate to the people who would act a fool in Taco Bell. Another stereotype that I still can't get over, and because of the stereotype, I still never tried the Popeyes chicken sandwich. Why were y'all going crazy over a damn chicken sandwich? People were fighting in a Popeyes? Why would you ever? There's cameras everywhere. Why would you be fighting over a fried chicken sandwich? I've worked real hard to defy stereotypes my whole life. All my life I had to fight. And here we are jumping over the counter trying to get a chicken sandwich from Popeyes, and people will get like physically violent. Then we ran out of chicken at the Popeyes and would jump behind the counter and want to fight people because they wanted a fried chicken sandwich so bad. You know what? When I would ask for fast food back in the day, sometimes I got lucky. I caught my mom or my dad in a weak moment and they would take me to McDonald's. But you know what we would hear? We got McDonald's at home. We got Popeyes at home. I can't believe some of the things that we do. And I still refuse to eat the Popeyes chicken sandwich. I know nobody is fighting over it anymore. But also, if you go to Popeyes, you have to expect them to be out of something. A previous radio station I worked at was on 20th and Capitol. And there was a Popeyes on 28th and Capitol. So as I'm driving home, I would pass the Popeyes. And I was done, obviously, with my radio show at noon. And I'd be hungry. And on occasion, not very often, because fried chicken's very bad for you, but damn, it's delicious, I would stop at that Popeyes. I love the red beans and rice, so maybe I'd get me a 3-piece spicy and get you a biscuit. Every single time I went to that Popeyes, they didn't have something. We ain't got no red beans and rice. We don't got no chicken. One time, I swear, they just ran out of boxes to put the chicken in. I get up to the window and pay. They just hand me the chicken. Here, hold your hands out. We don't got no boxes. Here, you want the chicken or not? And then they get mad at you. You ever go to a fast food restaurant and they're out of something that you're ordering and they get mad at you for ordering something that they don't have? I went to the Burger King that's near my house. They ran out of buns and got mad at me. I was like, yeah, can I get a Whopper with cheese? We ain't got no buns. So I don't know what you gonna do. I was like, ma'am, please, you're hurting my feelings. I'm just hungry. I'm a lonely, lowly traveler. I just want nourishment and sustenance. Well, you're gonna need to go somewhere else. If you want a bun, we don't got no buns. I said, ma'am, please. I don't want any trouble. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. Need a way to hype up your day?
Hello, is this Shirley?
This is she.
Shirley, you are our Gruber 5K giveaway winner this quarter. Congratulations.
What would you do with $5,000?
Going to look at buying me a pickup truck. That will be some of my down payment.
Stay tuned into 101.7 The Truth for your chance to be entered into the Gruber Law Office's 5K giveaway. For contest rules, visit 1017thetruth.com.
I love you guys.
I got money now.
You're a hard worker. Provide for your family and help out in your community. You've been there for so many others. But when life challenges you, when rising costs, unexpected repairs, medical bills, or simply a rough stretch make it hard to keep up on a limited or low income, you're not alone. Your local Wisconsin energy and emergency assistance providers are here for you, working together to keep you safely in your home. and your heat and power on. If you're struggling with high utility bills, facing a disconnect notice, or dealing with a furnace emergency and your limited or low income isn't enough, support is available. Visit www.heat.help or call 1-800-506-5596 to apply for a hand up.
Need a quick, delicious way to fuel your day? Try one of our new protein power plays from Cousin Subs. Power ham, power turkey, power club, power tuna. 4 craveable 5-inch subs on freshly baked Italian bread. Packed with protein, up to 33 grams. All for just $7.99 for a limited time. It's the flavor you love with the fuel you need. Grab a protein power play in store, online, or on the Cousin Subs app today. Cousin Subs, we believe in better.
Walk in for a suit, walk out with 2. It's buy one, get one half off throughout April at Nick Avani's. Suits, blazers, hats, jeans, and more. Everything you need from a hands-on team that styles you from head to toe. Find a suit, add shoes for half the price. Land the perfect 2-piece set, now add a vest for 50% less. Prom, weddings, galas, whatever's on your calendar, now's the time to stop in to Nick Avani's. 2nd floor at Mayfair Mall across from AMC. Buy one, get one half off throughout April at Nick Avani's. Some exclusions may apply. See store for details.
Discover your new favorite city, Milwaukee. Catch a sunrise over Lake Michigan. Sip your way through craft breweries and dive into a dining scene that's turning heads. From museums and music to thrilling sports teams and buzzing nightlife, Milwaukee delivers all season long. Good things are always brewing on the Fresh Coast. The expert guides at visitmilwaukee.org have everything you need to fully plan every detail. Whatever it is you'd like to do in Milwaukee. Plan your trip today at visitmilwaukee.org.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
LVMH Hennessy, Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy. Hennessy marketed in Johnson Publishing Company magazines like Ebony and Jet as early as the post-war era, hired black executives, and became one of the first luxury alcohol brands visible in the African-American community. That helped cement Hennessy as a status symbol in black America long before hip-hop amplified it. Number 3 on this list is a fast food restaurant we mentioned previously, McDonald's. McDonald's heavily targeted black communities beginning in the 1970s through the 1990s. Do y'all remember those black McDonald's commercials? You guys remember the one with Calvin? I'll never forget Calvin. Calvin is now a manager at McDonald's, and now McDonald's has paid for Calvin to go to college. Now Calvin is a regional manager of McDonald's. And it was all black people in the McDonald's at the time. They actually did a really good job of being ethnocentric when it comes to targeting African-American consumers. I think one of the shows that, because television is like the hypodermic needle that delivers the advertising to communities. So a TV show is great because we like TV shows and we like the plot and the characters. But the more riveted we are to the television show, obviously, the higher the ratings, the more effective the advertising is going to be. So really, television shows are there to foster people being exposed to advertising. You ever wonder why soap operas are called soap operas, if they even call them that anymore? Because soap operas were television shows that were sponsored by soap companies because they wanted you to buy soap. So like, oh, well, let's come up with a radio show, because soap operas actually started on radio. Then they went to television. But it'd be sponsored by Dove or by Ivory Soap. And so these marketing executives are like, why don't we create a program, a show where people are going to be tuned in for an hour or more at a time, and we're going to sponsor and present our product throughout the show. That's where the name soap opera came from. But Soul Train, Dark and Lovely, Afro Sheen. Think of all of the Afrocentric hair care products that were advertised on Soul Train. Not only that, if you were watching Soul Train, which was, can I be clear? Not only was it a designated highlight of how segregated America was on Saturday mornings, even though everybody watched Soul Train. I mean, even to this day, people still do the Soul Train line. What TV show is that where before the guests go out on stage, is it Jennifer Hudson? No, it's not her. You know what I'm talking about, X? Where the celebrities, before they go on stage, they dance. There's people clapping and cheering on both sides, and then they dance.
According to Zach, it is Jennifer Hudson.
It's Jennifer Hudson. That's basically a Soul Train line, where you dance and people are cheering you on.
That made a conspiracy come to my mind.
But Soul Train was one of those shows. But here's how segregated America was. There were two shows that were on, if not the same time, then one after another, that highlighted how segregated America was. American Bandstand. You had American Bandstand, hosted by Dick Clark. And then you had Don Cornelius, cultural icon himself. I think he got in trouble for hitting a lady, though. I think he punched a lady. That's not good for your image. It isn't. Don, I think he's dead. I'm pretty sure he's dead. Well, Dick Clark is definitely dead. But Soul Train was a medium to deliver the black consumer who was watching Soul Train, because Soul Train had all of the good musical performing artists on, and then it showed the new dance moves. Come on, you guys learn how to dance from Soul Train. I know I did. I'd get up and start doing the Soul Train dances when I was a little kid. It highlighted Saturday mornings, because after the Saturday morning cartoons went off, I think Looney Tunes was the last cartoon that was on, and then immediately you got Soul Train, and you had the animation, people all over the world. Oh, do I miss those days? But having television shows is a medium to deliver the consumer's attention and focus them on advertising products, and McDonald's has perfected that. It says legacy. McDonald's became deeply embedded in many black neighborhoods through both business ownership and advertising. In fact, the first African-American McDonald's franchise owners. In fact, it was right here in Milwaukee. Sherman Claypool, if I'm not mistaken. There were so many African Americans in Milwaukee that owned McDonald's franchise. They created their own organization, Black McDonald's franchise owners, and that was centrally located right here in Milwaukee. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back for Hour 3.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
28 years on the Packers.
I would flat out cut his ass to send a message.
37 years playing in the NFL.
This is the best win in the Matt LaFleur era.
87 years covering the Packers.
And that's what happened in the fourth quarter. That's all. He has been really good.
And 46 years of being on ESPN.
I said to Herman Edwards one time, it's hard to win a game in the NFL. He said, John, it's hard to make a first down.
There's no place with more experience when it comes to talking about the green and gold. All day, every day. We are 94.5 ESPN.
Truth Nation, tune in this week for your chance to win tickets to Tacos and Tequila Fest live from Franklin Field Saturday, May 30th, with performances by Shaggy, Rick Ross, Genuine, Soulja Boy, Frankie J, Mims, and more. There will be craft margaritas, Milwaukee's best taco, vendors, authentic lucha libre wrestling, an exotic car showcase, a Chihuahua beauty pageant, art, installations, and so much more. Tacos and Tequila Festival, Saturday, May 30th.
Want to protect our planet? The air we breathe, water we drink, and land we share? Real progress begins with birds. Yes, birds. The very ones we see and hear every day. On a walk, in the park, or simply out the window. That's because birds are more than birds. They're symbols, sentinels that reveal the health of our planet and our people. And by helping them thrive, all of us thrive as well. Audubon is a place where birds matter, where habitats are protected, where communities are engaged, and where change takes flight. Because at Audubon, hope begins with birds. Progress begins with birds. It all begins with birds. Audubon.
People don't realize that glaucoma is one of the leading causes of blindness.
Because there are often no early symptoms, nearly half of those with glaucoma may not even know they have it until vision loss has occurred.
I was diagnosed with normal tension glaucoma in July of 2020. And what we found out at that point was I had already lost 40% of my sight. And you think it only affects people that are, 75 or older, retired, grandparents, and that's not the reality of it.
I didn't think at all glaucoma was going to affect me because I didn't know of anyone that had glaucoma, no one in my family. When you have glaucoma, you can't get back that sight that you lost. And so early detection and treatment is vitally, vitally important.
Don't miss life's most beautiful moments. Schedule an eye exam today.
National Glaucoma Research, a Bright Focus Foundation program, offers free resources and tips for healthy vision.
Learn how to protect your sight at stopglaucoma.org.
You're listening to the new 1017 The Truth, founded in partnership with Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. 1017 FM, 1510 AM, WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee. A locally owned Good Karma brand station. More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 3 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. We're talking about some of everything today. The consumer power of African Americans is, let's just say, it's more than sizable. It is damn near intimidating. And if the African American consumer formed its own country, it would have one of the top 10 largest countries on planet Earth. And I want us to be a little bit more aware about how we spend our money and why we make the brand preferences that we make. And we talked about McDonald's and Louis Vuitton, Moet and Hennessy, how these brands have become culturally relevant and significant in the black community because some time ago they did make sizable investments in making sure that they were targeting the African American consumer because a large part of the 20th century we were in fact ignored. But marketing executives with Pepsi, and they kind of pioneered how you target African American consumers. And once you do that, when you're intentional and you focus on us and delivering advertising campaigns that show us as classy and sophisticated, you will have the black consumer forever. My curiosity started with a Facebook post where they showed a plate of food. I don't even remember what was on the plate. And the caption of the photo that showed this delicious plate of food said, "What drink would go well with this meal?" And 80% or more of the African Americans who responded to that Facebook post said Pepsi. It was overwhelming. Every now and again, somebody would say water or Kool-Aid or a beer, but most people said Pepsi. And I was wondering, was there some kind of connection? Is there some kind of loyalty, manufactured or organic, between African Americans and Pepsi? And lo and behold, that is exactly what happened in the 1940s with Pepsi CEO Walter Mack. So there are some companies that are very intentional. McDonald's, of course, was very intentional. Coca-Cola, while a little bit late to the party, they also started African American centered and focused advertising campaigns. Because if you see that we have $2.1 trillion worth of spending power, that's really, really important to companies that want to improve their profitability, because if you have maxed out your profitability with Caucasian consumers, a lot of times African American consumer markets are completely and totally untapped, and it's a new source of revenue, but it's a slippery slope that a lot of these corporations operate on, because how do you market properly and respectfully to the African American community, but keep politics and civil rights out of it? Because that could hurt your brand. If you market to the black community and you show us in a favorable light and you show black professionals and you show black folks that are very attractive and dressed very nice, and those marketing campaigns seem relatable, we may want your company or your product to also focus on some of the issues that plague the African American community, and that's where it gets dicey. And I notice that everywhere. If there's a company that wants our money, they don't oftentimes want our struggle. And if there is a company, and I'm sure there's some that come to mind that do focus on every aspect of the very complicated and angular and mystical black community, and they do involve themselves in our fights for civil rights and our fights for justice, you may turn off white consumers because white consumers are always going to be the bread and butter because there's so many more of them and they have more per capita income and discretionary income. So you cannot turn white consumers off. And I don't, from a business standpoint, I don't blame any company from taking that approach. Where it becomes problematic is when we are marketing political candidates, especially black ones. You cannot have a black candidate. Barack Obama was the best example of this. I learned so much from his political rise that I'm still learning to this day. There are so many things to be uncovered about how Barack Obama came to power, what he did and how he did it. And I would argue how he became so incredibly successful. He didn't overly emphasize the problems in the black community. He would do it covertly. He would probably have staff and advisors and other people who were in charge of helping him craft and create policy, along with members of the federal legislature. Where are African Americans suffering the most? And we might be suffering in silence, quietly. It was known that we were underinsured when it came to our health. It was known that some investments in healthcare, if there was only a certain amount of money given, let's say, to a county, the investments in urgent care and healthcare clinics and doctors' offices, a lot of times that stuff is federally funded, might go to the outskirts and might go to the suburbs, and they would leave the central city without those healthcare investments. So we were underinsured. We are sicker than everybody else. We have more preventable diseases and pre-existing conditions. The Affordable Care Act was born out of an issue that impacted African Americans pretty much more than any other. That and extreme levels of poverty in some cases. So he couldn't say, hey, I'm the black president, I'm going to do a whole bunch of stuff for black people, because that would have turned white people off. The thing about racism, and I want us to have a better understanding of this, whether you're black, white, Asian, et cetera, it's based upon ignorance. And if you can just outthink the ignorance of racism, you can manipulate the racist without them knowing. Let me tell you the best example of that. Trump. I don't know how he feels about anybody, quite honestly. I don't know. I don't even know how Donald Trump feels about his kids. I know that he is aware that there's a large cohort of people in this nation. Some of them are voters. All of them are consumers that don't like illegals, that don't like African Americans for a variety of reasons, either because we're too good or we're too bad. There's a large cohort of people in this country that don't like DEI the way Donald Trump framed DEI to be the villain. And you could say that some of those people gravitate toward Donald Trump because he holds some of those antiquated cultural and racist views. And what Donald Trump would do is he would market to them, make America great again, and then pick their pockets because they would buy his products. So he is galvanizing this support based upon racism, which is ignorance. It's just they're dumb. That's exactly what it is. And sometimes I look at the public school system objectively. There is, I don't want to say a concerted effort, but benefits to be gained if Americans are dumb. If we are not given a curriculum that encourages us to question everything and to critically think about everything and to question the motives of everything that exists in our society, if that is not encouraged, especially from a young age, because you can do it. You can inform children and put it into the curriculum at an age-appropriate level to encourage children to be independent thinkers and critical thinkers and to question absolutely everything. That's where technology comes from. You question what we have right now, and then you dare to wonder how to make it better. But I don't think that that's happening. And if you have a population that is not trained in how to critically think, you can sell them anything because they're simply going to believe you. Or you can take where they are with their sentiments, even if it's an antiquated racist sentiment, and just leave people right where they are and then sell that racism right back to them. Hey, you don't like blacks and Mexicans? Hey, we don't either. Buy these products then, because these products also represent not liking blacks and Mexicans. Oh, you want to think the South is going to rise again? Here, buy a whole bunch of these Confederate flags and fly them in front of your house. Somebody is making money off Confederate flags. I was talking to X about this yesterday. I would sell Confederate flags. If I knew the dumb white folks were going to buy them, now it wouldn't be me. Probably find some white face to market my Confederate flags, but then all the money I would make from Confederate flags, I would donate to the United Negro College Fund so that every racist that bought a Confederate flag would be sending a black kid to college. Why not?
Well, most of the vendors at the Trump rallies are black.
There weren't many black. I'm trying to think of how many black. So the highlight of vendor expositions are usually at political conventions because I remember when did they come on my show? Somebody might have come on my show because they were looking for like hundreds of different vendors to provide services to the RNC, everything from entertainment and music to security to food vendors. There was a lot of food vendors, and they had this application that was very, very simple. Doesn't mean that there weren't many. I didn't see many black vendors at the RNC, and I don't know. I'd have to look at like the actual data because like somebody could set up like a roadside cart.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. I have the footage.
But most at a Trump rally, which he doesn't really do those anymore. That's another reason why I think Donald Trump, or more evidence that he's falling off mentally. Dude used to have a rally once a month. You remember them days? He would just be traveling. He'd be going to Ohio, and he'd go to Michigan. He'd come to Wisconsin. He'd go to Minnesota, and he'd have these rallies. Notice Trump don't do those rallies no more. Something going on with dude. But a lot of times you'd have people outside the venue who would be selling like third-party and bootleg Donald Trump merchandise, because why not if you can profit off of it? But in the venue was the official licensed Donald Trump merchandise that he would personally profit off of. I also will have you watch out for this since we're talking about money and spending and marketing and all the things. So they're having, this is so embarrassing, the 250th, I guess, anniversary of America, 1776, July 4th. They're having a UFC fight on the White House lawn, which they are saying is a complete and total logistical nightmare. The products that are going to be for sale, commemorating. I'm almost upset that we're commemorating the 250th anniversary of the United States of America, which we as black people have to look at with double vision, because when America broke free from England, there was a lot of slavery. In fact, there's like 88 more years of slavery when America was essentially created or chartered, when our bylaws were created aside and next to and adjacent to and then separate from the Commonwealth of England. So we weren't free, but it's still, it's a tough. 4th of July is always tough. Like, I'm not going to not celebrate the 4th of July. I'm going to go to your barbecue. Absolutely. I'll drink your beer that you have in the cooler in the backyard while we listen to the OJs. Absolutely, I'll celebrate the 4th of July. Don't take a holiday away from me. I'm just kind of on the fence and conflicted about the whole holiday writ large. But the fact that Donald Trump is the president at this incredible milestone for the nation is problematic, because he's going to use it as a marketing opportunity. Just like I was very glad that Bill Clinton got reelected in 1996. And I think a lot of folks who weren't around back then underestimate exactly how popular Bill Clinton was, especially amongst the African-American community. Now, did he do some things that weren't perfect? Of course he did. Like Monica Lewinsky, I'm sure he regrets that. But for the most part, Bill Clinton never really lost any support amongst the African-American community. I think what we do, though, is we we look back, a lot of younger folks do this, and it drives me insane. They take the lens that we have today where everything is politically correct. You can't say this, you can't say that, because this is offensive and this is going to offend somebody, and there's 475 genders, and if you don't respect just the amount of time that it took me to say that there's 3 more genders, now there's 478 genders, and if you say something in these ultra politically correct times that does not respect, there's 2 more genders, there's 480 genders now, and if you say something that offends somebody who's in the 485 genders, then people get real mad at you. And so they take today's lens and they look at it retroactively. And they look at things that we did in 1992 or 94 or 1996. Like, oh my God, you guys were so transphobic and homophobic and you guys were so terrible. You can't do that. You have to be in the context of the time. You can't look at your frame of reference from today because it has no historical pedigree whatsoever. It's just what you know about today, and then you look back in retrospect, like, oh, the 90s were all screwed up. No, they weren't. Best decade in human history. The 90s were sexy, and they smelled like Drakkar cologne. And everybody had a Camaro. Well, everybody's got a Camaro now, too. But I didn't want Bob Dole to be president at the turn of the century. 1999 going into 2000 was a big deal. Remember the panic? Like, oh no, the date is going to change from 99 to 2000 and the banks are going to stop working. Do you guys remember people going to the bank and withdrawing all their money? I remember seeing the news stories that New Year's Eve. It was literally insane. People were stocking up on bottled water and duct tape because we thought Armageddon was coming, because we didn't know if the computers would recognize it was the year 2000 and the computers might recognize that it was 1900 because the date was changing to 00. Meaning if you had a bank account in 1999 and the date changed over to 2000, your bank account would think it was 1900 back before you actually had a bank account, and people thought all their money was going to get wiped out. And guess what happened that night? Nothing. Not a thing. Not even a light bulb got burnt out. Remember that? But it was a real big deal because it's not often that you're around when a century changes. And we did not want Bob Dole to be president when we were celebrating this monumental milestone of going from 1999 to the year 2000. I'm glad it was Bill Clinton. All right, I'm going to take a break, come back, talk to Al on the other side. I know he's got a lot of stuff to say. I titled today's show Q&A. I'm not sure if we answered many questions. We might have actually created more questions than we answered, but whatever. If you got questions, we got answers. Whatever it is you want to know. And yes, I did put my belt back on. Because Eastside Corey called and he said that the prospect of my pants falling down was sexy. I just don't need. I mean, is it flattering? I guess. I mean, I don't
like you,
but I'm not a gay.
They don't know that.
They should. I've been accused of it. It's not. People used to like, oh, Sherwin, you're gay. That's not. I'm just not gay.
They might think you're a bear.
It's not an insult. Those bears are big, burly, hairy gays. They're hairy and big. When women say they choose the bear, right? Maybe. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
The pulse of the Milwaukee Bucks, straight from a Bucks legend.
Can't get it off. Marcus Johnson will, though. Can't leave him alone for a 12.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson on Bucks Plus. Marcus and his son Chris offer a weekly beat on Bucks basketball. Get your questions answered and hear from the biggest names in basketball. Find Here District with Marcus Johnson at bucks.com/plus on the Bucks app or wherever you get your podcasts.
You're a hard worker. Provide for your family and help out in your community. You've been there for so many others. But when life challenges you, when rising costs, unexpected repairs, medical bills, or simply a rough stretch make it hard to keep up on a limited or low income, you're not alone. Your local Wisconsin energy and emergency assistance providers are here for you, working together to keep you safely in your home and your heat and power on. If you're struggling with high utility bills, facing a disconnect notice, or dealing with a furnace emergency and your limited or low income isn't enough, support is available. Visit www.heat.help or call 1-800-506-5596 to apply for a hand up.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Hi, I'm Greg Fritsch, president of the Center for Veterans Issues, inviting you to get involved in supporting the CVI mission. The Center for Veterans Issues is proud to serve veterans across Wisconsin. Each year, we help more than 1,200 veterans stay housed, find meaningful employment, and connect with the support they've earned. From housing assistance and job training to case management and suicide prevention outreach, our team is here to help veterans build stable, independent lives. If you're a veteran in need of support, visit cvivet.org. Donations can also be accepted at cvivet.org/donate.
It's a spring thing, Milwaukee. Join us Saturday, May 2nd from 11 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. at Embassy Center, MKE, 3725 North Sherman Boulevard. This free family community resource fair is for ages 0 to 100. Get free diapers, baby wipes, groceries, haircuts while supplies last. Don't miss baby food prep classes and powerful maternal health speakers, Bishop Walter Harvey and Dalvery Blackwell. Doors open at 10:30. Come early. It's a spring thing. Don't miss it.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Marquise says, if you still celebrate the 4th of July, you are not black, sir. Kiss my ass, Marquise. I'll celebrate whatever the hell I want to. My blackness ain't contingent upon a date on the calendar. I'm black every day. Black 365, 24/7. Vince says, Don Cornelius committed suicide. Oh, damn. That's not very soul trainy of him. Tony says, is that chicken sandwich remind me of the movie Undercover Brother when they was planning on controlling black people through chicken? Well, mission accomplished. Mike says, not to mention Muskego and next to a daycare. Sugar honey iced tea don't fly there. Brian says, I must agree with you on Pepsi's advertising strategy. They got the big guest star in the 80s at the time to advertise their product, Michael Jackson, like slamming a big joker in a spades game, laughing but serious. Michael Jackson's hair caught on fire during a Pepsi commercial. That made international news. Oh, and the jokes! You guys remember when Michael Jackson's hair caught on fire during a Pepsi commercial? That was a cultural moment in time. And we were all very concerned, like, oh no, is Michael going to be okay? And he was. The fire was put out quickly. I think he did suffer some 3rd-degree burns. That was in probably 83. Was that a Super Bowl commercial? Probably 83. Mike's hair caught on fire, and we were like, oh my God, is Mike okay? Within the next 10 or 15 years, Mike would in fact not be okay, but not because his hair caught on fire during the filming of a Pepsi commercial. Let's talk to Al. You're on 1017 The Truth. How are you?
I'm doing good. First of all, the 90s was very good.
Yes, they were.
Especially when they had, you remember DJ Quick?
Yeah.
It ain't nothing like black on my word, that up. DJ Quick? I saw like Domino's Rocket. Okay, well, anyway, moving forward. First thing I want to say to black people, y'all got to step your game up. When you have Hennessy, you do not have to get loud. When you get Hennessy, maybe try it on the rocks with pineapple, all right? Or if you're out, try to do something. Just elevate your mind. Because I know a lot of people say, oh, Hennessy, Hennessy, Hennessy. I try to stay far as away from Hennessy as I can. I try to do a scotch, or I try to do a bourbon on the rocks and have them light the bourbon, and I have them blow it out in front of me before I drink it. Just elevate your mind. Now, when I was down in Danbury, Connecticut, I had did some ribs, and we started off with the Chardonnay, Sweet B, and then when we had the ribs, we had the Big Black D, okay? And the stuff went together very well, and it just was magnifique, just magnificent.
Wait, what's
we got?
Al, explain people what Big Black D is for those that don't know.
It's a Jamaican rum from Jamaica, and it's actually, I can't say the word because I get banned, but it's called Big Black D, and y'all can spell it out. You can look it up. It comes in 5 different flavors. That goes very, very good with ribs. So all I'm saying is you got to step your game up, and you got to have some elegance in how you perform and things of that nature. But one thing I wanted to say, too, to the black women that's out here who don't really mess with black men, and I love you black women, y'all got to stop getting with black men, and then the first thing you want to do is put black men down. Because if it wasn't for that black man and them black testicles, your black self-hating ass would not be here, okay? And love has no color. But when you get with other races, don't start putting down people who look like your father. Because if it wasn't for your father, you wouldn't be here. And a lot of times, y'all are getting mouth F-U-K in the end because y'all coming up dead. So love has no color, but when y'all get with other races, and don't start putting down your black man because you came from a black man. And one more thing I wanted to share with you, Mr. Hughes.
Oh, please, absolutely.
And I tell people this: if you decide to mess around, that does not make you gay. That just makes you versatile because you know how to turn that side on and you know how to turn it off. And a lot of times to those men who always get all uptight about it, it's really because they never dipped their foot in the water. And when they get caught with their pants down, it's probably because somebody poured something down the crack of their ass and they got licked. So all I'm saying to those people, get your mind right, step your game up, and you can get what you want. Because a lot of y'all not getting what you want. A lot of y'all are not hitting the spot. A lot of y'all women are unhappy, and y'all feel just because you're Hector Camacho, you running stuff, you ain't running nothing. You're not. You're just a squirrel trying to get a nut, and half of the time that ain't even coming out in a heavy load because you're not doing your salary and you're not eating your vegetables, and it's coming out like teardrops. But I need y'all just to step y'all game up, because if you step your game up, you'll be able to get what you want. And remember, representation and delivery is the best opportunity to get what you want. And another thing I was going to tell you, bears is okay, but the leather daddies is the real freaky ones. Bears are the ones who just get stuff like a turkey, But if you go into the leather daddy or you go into somebody that's hella freaky, them are the ones.
Leather daddies.
No, those are the ones that's really turning everything out. Just like you go to the church. The real freaky ones is inside the church. They're not outside. They're inside the church. The real freaky ones, they're in the church. So when y'all talk about all this stuff, remember, when it comes to kinkiness and freakiness, it's the ones who's willing to elevate their mind. That's why they're never complaining. Their wives is always happy, and the men know the terms and conditions. And I'm just speaking from the law lessons of life. But for you who feel a certain way, people going to get what they want. And y'all going to be sitting there with a set of blue balls. And everybody know blue balls doesn't feel good. because it's like you got a bunch of air, but the nut never came out. Y'all have yourself a great day. Happy hump day. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, now we'll see you later.
I thought that was a myth.
I don't know. Okay. I don't want a leather daddy.
Do you wear leather?
That's not the same thing as being a leather daddy. I don't want to be that freaky. It's just not for me. And let me not yuck somebody else's yum. I'm just not. I don't want to do that. But if you want to do it, if you want to get a bear and a leather daddy and some Hennessy and eat your celery, then you should be able to do those things. It's just not for me. You know, everything is not for everybody. That's a new term I learned today. Tomorrow, let's title the show Leather Daddies. Okay, I'm going to take a break because I need one. Because I need to just collect my thoughts because a lot was said. He said because you experiment doesn't make you gay. Yeah, it does. It does. I think so. But there's nothing wrong with that. If you are into, I can only speak for myself. For me, a woman offers a lot, enough, more than enough. There's so much that a woman offers, just emotionally, spiritually, physically, of course, that a man doesn't offer. You know what I mean? I just like girls. Always have. I like all kinds of girls. So I'm going to take a break. Leather Daddies. Call in 833-212-1017. 833-212-1017. Love to hear from the Leather Daddies. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Will be right back.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Tacos and Tequila Festival, Saturday, May 30th at Franklin Field, featuring live performances by Shaggy, Rick Ross, Genuine, Soulja Boy, Frankie J, Mims, and more. There will be craft margaritas, Milwaukee's best taco vendors, authentic lucha libre wrestling, an exotic car showcase, a Chihuahua beauty patch, art installations, and so much more. Tacos and Tequila Festival, Saturday, May 30th. Get your tickets at tacoandtequilafestival.com.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer, providing equal employment, development, and advancement opportunities to all teammates and applicants. To learn more about careers with us, please send an email to talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com. That's talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com.
Tap into the best power hour in radio in Milwaukee.
So altogether, you're looking at $1,780 for your mortgage and for your property taxes in a year. And that's before you have to deal with, obviously, your water bill and electric bill. That's a steep price that people have to pay. And based off those numbers I just ran, to afford a home like that, you got to make $65,000 a year. But the problem is, here in Milwaukee, the median household income is only $54,234. That's out of whack. So again, I am all about affordability. I'm all about people getting homes. But what we have to understand is that until homes are more affordable, you can have a supply and demand problem. But the problem that we have here in the city of Milwaukee is that these prices, when people are listing these houses, they're listing them for prices that people really can't afford. And even if you do get the house and you're paying that, you're living paycheck to paycheck. Home ownership is not about living paycheck to paycheck. Home ownership is about finding something that fits within your budget and building equity for the future.
Catch Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace every weekday from noon to 1 p.m. on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app.
Talking about guns with others might not always feel comfortable, but it could save a life. Here's a way to start a conversation. Your family is going over to your neighbor's home for dinner for the first time. How would you ask if there are any unlocked guns in the home?
Hey, we're so excited for tonight. Before we come over, may I ask a few questions? Yeah, of course. Do you have any pets? Yes, we have a dog. Great. Do you have a pool outside? Nope, just a big old backyard. Nice. Another question. Are there any unlocked guns in the home?
Our guns are stored securely, locked in a safe that the kids can't access.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, let's just talk about what we can bring for dessert.
Learn how to have the conversation at agreetoagree.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the Ad Council.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
It's a spring thing, Milwaukee. Come out Saturday, May 2nd from 11 a.m. until 3:30 p.m. at Embassy Center, MKE, 3725 North Sherman Boulevard. This free family community resource fair is from ages 0 to 100. Get free diapers, baby wipes, groceries, haircuts while supplies last. Don't miss the baby food prep classes and powerful maternal health speakers. Bishop Harvey and Dalvery Blackwell. Doors open at 10:30. Come early. It's a spring thing. Don't miss it. Learn how to make baby food and feed it to the leather daddies. I think that we should make that last Al phone call into a couple of really interesting clips for our Instagram page that will likely never get posted, but at least we will have them, because I learned a lot. And I think whenever I learn a lot, maybe those that follow us on social media and those that listen to the program may also learn a lot, because he packs a lot in one phone call. Al does. Using the latest widely cited estimates, total African American consumer buying power in the United States is approximately $2.1 trillion in 2026. In 2025, it was $1.98 trillion. Quote, buying power generally means after-tax disposable income available for spending and saving. In 2021, black buying power was $1.6 trillion. 2024, $1.8 trillion. 2025, $1.98 trillion. 2026, $2.1 trillion. Where are y'all getting all of this money from? And the amount of money that we are making as a black community is going up. Maybe that DEI is working. At roughly $2.1 trillion, if black America were a standalone national economy, it would rank around the size of a top 10 or top 12 global country compared to nations like Italy or Canada, depending on the year and the U.S. currency exchange rate. That means black consumer spending power exceeds the annual gross domestic product of most countries on planet Earth. Growth since the 1930s, low aggregate spending, and severe structural limits to black spending in the 30s. During the Great Depression, African Americans were concentrated in low-wage agricultural and domestic labors, often excluded from unions, mortgages, New Deal benefits, and many white-collar professions. Buying power was relatively small, not because of population size alone, but because income suppression was real and systemic. Estimated black disposable consumer markets in the 1930s, adjusted for inflation today, was likely tens of billions of dollars. The 1940s to the 1960s, which included wartime jobs, plus the Great Migration to the Upper Midwest and the Civil Rights era. Key accelerators into the increase in black spending: industrial jobs during and after World War II, the Great Migration to northern cities like Milwaukee, Gary, Detroit, Chicago, rising union wages, early black targeted marketing firms like Pepsi, mentioned earlier, and desegregation spending was opening up to different consumer markets. The 1970s through the 1990s, the emergence of the modern black middle class. Public sector employment increased, college attainment increased, home ownership increased, Black entrepreneurship increased. Cultural influence in music, fashion, sports, and entertainment all increased. By 1990, black buying power was estimated to be $318 billion. Between the years of 2000 and 2026, Nielsen notes black buying power grew 2.4 times since 2000 to reach $2.1 trillion. In the year 2000, black buying power was $875 billion. In 2010, $1.0 trillion. 2021, $1.6 trillion. Today it is $2.1 trillion. Why it grew so much? U.S. black population is now roughly 48 million people. Education gains, higher education attendance, and professional employment than previous generations. Urban concentration, large metro areas create concentrated market power like Atlanta, Washington, Detroit, Houston, and Chicago. Cultural market influences, black consumers over-index in trend-setting factors like music streaming. You know, we stream more music than anybody else as blacks. Beauty and healthcare, sneakers and apparel, mobile media usage, and entertainment. Corporate recognition. Major brands now treat black consumers as a strategic growth market rather than a niche specialized demographic. You guys remember when Tommy Hilfiger said he doesn't want black people wearing his clothes? Can I tell you that Tommy Hilfiger never said that? That was a campaign that was orchestrated against him. We don't know where it came from, but it was an urban myth because they said he said it on Oprah. Tommy Hilfiger had only been on Oprah once, and it was to clear up the fact that he never said that. I got my first Tommy Hilfiger sweatshirt in 1990 before most of y'all even knew who Tommy was. And I remember my English teacher, Mr. Steffen. I hope he's dead because I hated dude. He was a well-to-do guy from a wealthy family. He lived in Mequon. I remember going into his English lit class, and he looked at my sweatshirt. He was like, "What are you doing wearing that?" If anything, my damn English teacher didn't want black people wearing Tommy Hilfiger. I said, "Mr. Steffen, this is my favorite sweatshirt. Why would you say something like that to me?" And he rolled his eyes at me. He also kicked me out of his class. I had some racist teachers. But then I had some teachers that were really nice to me because I come to find out that some of my teachers knew that other teachers were racist, and the non-racist teachers were nicer to me to make up for the fact that I had racist teachers. Back in the day, I swear teachers used to be in the classroom until they were in their 70s. Do y'all remember having really, really old-ass teachers? Or maybe because I was on the cusp of an unusual generation. So when I remember my mother complaining about how old my teachers were because she even called some of them some old bats. When I was in second grade, I had this ancient Italian lady, Miss Caldiero. I know she's dead. She's in her 60s. Had to have been, easily. And that's not that old. There's teachers that teach until their 60s. If you think about it, when I'm in second grade in 1982, and if mine's in her 60s, not uncommon, she was probably born in the 1920s. She probably started teaching during or just after World War II, and she was my second grade teacher. Now, I'd imagine that racial attitudes have gotten better. They still are not perfect, nor in a country like America will they ever be, because now I think black people can be very racist too, which, I mean, come on. We learn from the best. But I could imagine a teacher who started their career teaching in Brown Deer. Hell, before it was even called Brown Deer, they used to be called Granville. And then you start to see this slow trickle of African-American students in your classrooms. Well, I'd imagine most teachers are probably thinking like, oh, maybe this is good. More diversity, more black children are going to Brown Deer schools and elementary schools, and more black families who are now legally able to get mortgages in Brown Deer are moving on here. This is a great thing. But I can't help but to think some teachers were like, we don't want these niggers out here. I got to teach them. And because in the early days, and I'm going to call it the early days because it was the early days of my life, we were too small of a demographic at Brown Deer to segregate us. But by the time we got to high school, you had these quote-unquote alternative schools inside of Brown Deer High School, where, of course, a lot of the Chapter 220 children spend most of their school day. This one comes from Fashionista.com. Have you heard the rumor that Tommy Hilfiger doesn't want minorities wearing his clothes? It's an old one that started around 1996 via an email boycott campaign and went something like this. Hilfiger allegedly said something along the lines of that if he had known minorities were going to wear his clothes, he wouldn't have made them, quote, so nice, and that he wished they wouldn't wear them. Then he went on Oprah and stood by those statements. Of course, none of that was true. He had never even been on Oprah's show when the rumor started. Hilfiger did eventually go on Oprah's show in 2007 to put the rumors to rest. And in 2015, as the featured guest in the latest installment of Fern Malice's 92Y Fashion Icon series, he talked about those rumors yet again. We had heard that I was supposedly on Oprah, and I had told her that if I had known black people were going to wear my clothes, I wouldn't have been a designer. I had never been on Oprah, and I never said that, and I would never believe that anyway, nor would I ever say that anyway, he told Joel Horowitz, who was still chief executive of Tommy Hilfiger. He came to him and said, do you know in my Jewish community, people are saying that you also don't want Jewish people wearing your clothes? Then we read the Filipino tabloids. Then we heard from the Hispanics that I didn't want them wearing my clothes. And pretty soon, dogs and cats. It was a rumor and a myth. Oprah invited me to be on her show to deal with it, and some people still to this day believe it. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Milwaukee business owners, this is your moment. Every Friday at 8 a.m., call in to 101.7 The Truth for What the Business Is. Tell us what your business is, where you're located, and one thing you've learned along the way. What the Business is powered by We Energies, delivering the energy that powers local business. Fridays at 8 a.m. on 101.7 The Truth. Fridays at 8 a.m. on 101.7 The Truth.
You're a hard worker. Provide for your family and help out in your community. You've been there for so many others. But when life challenges you, when rising costs, unexpected repairs, medical bills, or simply a rough stretch make it hard to keep up on a limited or low income, you're not alone. Your local Wisconsin energy and emergency assistance providers are here for you, working together to keep you safely in your home and your heat and power on. If you're struggling with high utility bills, facing a disconnect notice, or dealing with a furnace emergency and your limited or low income isn't enough, support is available. Visit www.heat.help or call 1-800-506-5596 to apply for a hand up.
June 2022, Southeast Wisconsin. A distracted driver killed 3 people, and in that single moment, it affected many more. The grandmother.
And my heart sank. Their lives are forever lost.
Pastor.
That was the most difficult day of my entire ministry.
Sister.
I lost my best friend.
Distracted driving affects everyone. Buckle up, phone down. Brought to you by the Wisconsin Department of Transportation.
How much does it cost to talk to Gruber Law Offices after a serious crash? It's free. Yes, free. As in it won't cost you anything to speak with us. Not sure if you have a case? Call our team at Gruber Law Offices today. Your first call and your first consultation are always free. And you'll never pay us a fee until we win your case. If you've been seriously injured, call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Don't miss one of Milwaukee's favorite summer traditions, the U-Path Ride for Arts, presented by Miller Lite, returns Sunday, May 31st. Ride a fully closed 20-mile course across the Hone Bridge with incredible lakefront views. Kids 12 and under ride free thanks to the Brewers Community Foundation. All in support of Southeastern Wisconsin Performing Arts. 7 a.m. start, finish at U-Path Fest on Summerfest grounds. Register today at upathride.org. That's upathride.org.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Tune into the award-winning 1017 The Truth's Community Spotlight today at 3:57 p.m. We will be speaking with Nicole Acosta, Director of Impact and Engagement. She will discuss how your child can do summer different through their free summer programming in Milwaukee and camp in Boscobel, Wisconsin. Again, that is the Business Spotlight today with the Kellogg Peak Initiative at 3:57 p.m. on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. What have we learned today? Black people have a whole bunch of money. I will give credit to a particular designer. I love polo, always have. Got a lot of polo wear. Ralph Lauren created a very specific extension of the polo brand called Oak Bluff. And I want those of you who call yourself at least somewhat familiar with African American culture and our impact on style and fashion to be familiar with Oak Bluff. And so it is a very specific fashion line that is catering to, influenced by, created and curated by Black fashion designers. And if you haven't seen the documentaries, there are 2 free to watch on YouTube documentaries about the Oak Bluff fashion line that is an extension of polo, where Ralph Lauren, who has always been pioneering when it comes to fashion, wanted to be intentional and hire all Black designers and entire Black marketing teams to put together the documentary videos to highlight a part of Black culture that never gets discussed. When you hear about places like Martha's Vineyard, you think about the rich and the wealthy, the well-to-do white folks that come from old money. Black people have been going to vacationing and owning property in Martha's Vineyard for 100 years, but it's a little known, little discussed culture that most folks are completely oblivious to. And what Ralph Lauren did, very rarely do you see a designer of that caliber, which is a multi-billion-dollar international brand, be that focused and intentional and invest in the impact and the influence of African Americans on the fashion industry. I, of course, wanting to celebrate everything that celebrates us, went and looked at some Oak Bluff apparel, which you can buy directly from Ralph Lauren, and I can't afford any of it, and I've got money. But there is very little known about this covert culture of African Americans that go. You know who else goes to Martha's Vineyard? The Obamas do. But there is a cohort of us that have been going out there for damn near 100 years, and we don't know anything about it. It's its own culture. Now, it clearly doesn't represent the diaspora of African Americans, but we are so unique, and there's so many different facets to us and our race, our culture, and our community, and I think that all of them are worth examining, because there's some folks that think that we only go to Taco Bell's in Muskego to fight. But there are segments of the African American community who are much more likely to own the Taco Bell than to go there and start a fist fight and pull out a pistol. So if you haven't checked out the Oak Bluffs documentary, they're only like 20 minutes. They're worth checking out. In fact, if you have Spotify, there is a specific Oak Bluffs Spotify playlist which features artists, African-American musical artists, which goes along with the theme of this very, very classy and exceptionally expensive. It's like a sweater is like $800. I can't pay $800 for a sweater. Even if I was super, super, super duper rich, like someone is going to be this Friday when we give away the Gruber $5,000, I wouldn't go buy a Lamborghini or a Ferrari. You know what I would do, actually, if I had that kind of money? I don't even know if I'd buy another house. I might remodel my basement. I'd still stay in the same house. Let's say Sherwin got $37 million because Ralph Lauren wants to sponsor The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Call me, Ralph. And I got a $30+ million contract. You know what? I would just buy another Tesla. That's all I would do. I would get a 2026 Model Y Performance. I would get it ceramic coated and wrapped in a flat black finish. That's it. I'd get the windows tinted. That's what I would do with $33 million. You wouldn't even really notice the difference. Other than I might on occasion take a helicopter to work. But no, you wouldn't really notice much of a difference if I had a whole bunch of money. I would just be the same old Sherwin. First thing I would do is not tell anybody. Because when people find out you got that kind of money, I mean, the women are already crawling off the woodwork. You know what I'm saying? And once they find out I'm that rich, then it would just be a panty fiasco. And I don't need that stress and that drama in my life. You know what I'm saying? So I'd still come to work every day. Some of y'all get your damn tax checks and quit your job. Kiss my ass, boss. I got $4,200 back in my tax return. I'm quitting this job. 3 weeks later, whole bunch of all-flat chicken wings, lots of Hennessy, and buying a couple sections at the nightclub, and you're broke and asking for your job back. We don't always do the smartest things with our money, but hopefully on today's program, we learned a little bit more about some of the things that influence our consumer behavior. On tomorrow's program, I would like to talk about a kind of structural racism that oftentimes gets ignored, because I want folks who listen to this program to be very informed about how nuanced and complicated and, in some cases, how hidden racism is. And we don't want to be ignorant when it comes to something that is so incredibly debilitating and diabolical. And it impacts all people. And it's a infrastructure, structural kind of racism. Why they don't have public transportation that goes from central cities, including light and high-speed rail, out to suburbs, and even why some suburbs don't even have sidewalks. We'll discuss that tomorrow. Thank you for listening. I'll see you then.
Brew Crew Tuesdays are back on May 12th.
Curio sends it deep to left, and there she goes.
Catch the Brewers on local TV as they play the San Diego Padres.
And Yelich launches one deep right center field. Forget about it. Oh, my goodness. Third deck.
Brew Crew Tuesdays are presented by Construction Business Group. Tune in